It's not what you hear, but what you don't hear that is shocking from the Brent Kopacka shooting in Pullman, Washington. The recently released public records request that I got back on the shooting of Brent Kopacka and the audio file that we broke down is stunning. Stunning, not in what you hear so much as what you don't hear. Let me explain that. The devil's in the details. Let's go. Now, I apologize right up from the front. You probably have seen, you probably saw. This is the longest video I think I've ever done in my entire YouTube career. It's 4 hours, well, 3 hours long. It's 3 hours long, plus this little intro. That's a long time. And it was done originally as a members only live. So what I did is I've got a huge document dump, public records requests have been filing in the Idaho state, the Idaho killing Moscow in 2022, November 13th. I'm all over the place on this monologue. But anyways, I've been filing public records requests for a long time. I got a huge data dump and it's so much information. I decided to go ahead and do member only deep dives where I watch it live and comment on it live. And then I take the best moments and I snip them out and I talk about them on my live show that's public, right? So it's kind of like a member only small group of people like, hey, if you want to watch me watch this live, I'll do it. And I did that. And then DAGO from True Crime Cafe jumped on the show with me and the two of us, and he brought his former EMT experience, firefighter, fire department, EMT experience to the dispatch discussion. It was all a dispatch audio recording of police dispatch on the night that Brent Kopacka was shot. And also we had one from our show, NYPD police officer, also giving his insights into that dispatch and what the various things that are being said meant and what it says. And what happens, by the way, I'm going to tell you right now, if you do have the stomach to listen to this, it's a long one. So if you have the time and you have the patience to listen to it, yes, I talk a lot. Fudge. Dago talks a lot. And I love that about the guy. And the two of us will go on long rants about what this means. We like to educate people. So in this audio, we spend a lot of time, especially in the beginning. There gets to be longer periods in late in the video of the audio where we will talk less and listen more, but definitely during the early parts of this video, we spent a lot of time explaining things, explaining to the public what dispatch codes mean, what you're hearing, what the transmissions mean, we explain things. We like to explain to the public what you're hearing so that when it happens, you're kind of like, oh, I get what's happening. So we spent a lot of time in the early stages of this. Again, here's the shocker. I'm going to tell you right now. At the beginning of this audio, I did not realize that the audio was truncated. What does that mean? That with the audio is about 1 hour and 13 minutes that they gave us. We don't even get through it in the 3 hours. We don't even finish the 1 hour and 13 minute audio that we're watching live. I invited people to come listen to that 1 hour and 13 minute audio with me live. And it took 3 hours to get through about 40 minutes of it. And the reason being is because as we're going through, shit didn't make sense. We're like, how the fuck can SWAT be on scene so quickly? How can this happen? Why are they shooting gas into the apartment so early in this investigation, into this standoff? What you're going to find is, and what we found is that well into this, we realized, oh my God, they've truncated the audio. It sounds like it's a continual ongoing thing, but they've clearly cut out major sections and truncated the audio so that an event that took about 8 hours to transpire happens in 1 hour and 13 minutes. And we only cover about 40 minutes of it. We will cover from the first basically call, the first dispatch to the apartment where Brent Kopacka was shot and killed, to the moment just shortly after Brent Kopacka is shot and killed. That's all on this discussion. So you're going to hear major pieces that they have decided, Pullman Police Department and others have decided to share with us from that night that Brent Kopacka was shot, from the moment that they were called in to the moment that he was killed, and just shortly after. It was well into this that we realized that they were truncating the audio and cutting out major sections that we weren't here. Shocking moments happened when we realized they were truncating the audio, such as Brent Kopacka just said, and then you don't get to hear what they said because they've left that out. But then you'll hear when they said, he also just said, and they left that in. And the part that they left in makes complete sense if you're a skeptical person. Skeptical person. Now, I want to say thank you, Pullman Police Department, for providing these audios. Thank you so much for allowing yourself to be put under scrutiny. And I mean that with all sincerity. Pullman Police Department. Did I say Moscow? Pullman Police Department did not charge me for these files. So super, super thanks to the Pullman Police Department and anyone who went to giving up those public records as we requested. Unfortunately, these are heavily, heavily redacted and truncated. Timestamps have been removed, so you don't get to know when things are happening. So while I'm thankful for what we did have, it is definitely not the raw feed. They are allowed to give us segregable portions that have stuff redacted out, but I can guarantee you the stuff that they've redacted out is not necessary to redact out. So then you have to ask yourself, what's really going on? All right, enough of the disclaimer. Please enjoy, if you're willing to just put this on with some headphones and go about your day, do some house cleaning, do some work, pretend to your boss like you're doing work and listening to us on here. What you're going to hear is a stunning real-time discovery of all the questions that we start to ask about why the fuck does this not make any sense, the shooting of Brent Kopacka. What the hell really went on that night? We may never know, but listen to us discover all of the crazy things, including the most shocking part is, guess what you don't hear? That's going to be the shocker. Check it out. Let me know what you think. This is Pullman Police Department radio dispatch between the dispatcher and police cars arriving on scene. The phone call has been made already by Jordan Baker, who is outside of the the Coffee House Apartments on Latah Street, I believe, on the south side of Pullman, Washington. What's happening is a report has been made about a quote-unquote suicidal individual named Brent Kopacka, who is pacing with a gun, possibly, outside of his door in an apartment. Jordan Baker has called in the call, along with maybe others, and the initial responder is, the dispatcher is telling initial responders about that situation. So it starts off right off the bat, talking about Jordan's on the phone, he's in the parking lot, he got out of the room, Brent is in the apartment still in 311A. So that's apartment 311A. It's on the top floor of the Coffee House Apartments. It's on the back side of the Coffee House Apartments. Now, Joe and I went there a while back from State of the Deep, Latah Street or whatever. You have to go into the parking lot, so you can see the front of the apartments on the main street, but then you go into the apartments on the back side of the apartments, and there's a bunch of parking back there with cars. That's what is seen on a lot of body camera footage. If you're on the back side of that apartment, 311A, the unit where this is happening, is kind of in the middle of this big apartment building, top floor, middle. I do know that I saw a little snippet that officer's talking about a broken window where maybe they shot him through the window. It seems, again, I don't know exactly the details, but they did talk about the broken window on the top floor, and that there was evidence on the ground in front of that top floor, which indicates to me broken glass or shit. I don't know. Did Brent fall out of the window? I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I only saw a little tiny bit of the body-worn camera, and being there on the street with Joe, I know that we're talking about the back parking lot of the Coffee House Apartments. All right. Again, this is going to go fast. I will just pause as I have something to talk about. The static image on screen is always going to be a picture of Brent Kopacka, and we're just going to see how it goes. Please let me know with a 1 very, very quickly if you guys hear the audio. I believe the audio is going to be playing for you, but when I click the play, I want to know with a 1 from anybody who's in here that you do hear the audio, and then we'll get into it.
Pullman units, weapons defense, 1000 Whitehall Street, 311A.
All right, did you guys hear that and the dispatcher say 311A? I just want to make sure that I got a 1 if anybody's listening. All right, perfect. So that was Pullman Dispatch talking to police officers. The volume is all the way up on this. I recommend you listen to headphones. I'm listening on headphones as well because it's going to be hard to hear. A lot of times I find that officers in particular talk mush mouth they're very hard to hear. Sometimes they're just like, and the dispatchers repeats some of those stuff they say pretty clearly. I don't know what it is, but that's universal across the United States. Police officers almost always talk mush mouth, it seems like, which doesn't help the auto recording. But all right, let's get into it. This is dispatch calling in on an incident with a suicidal person in an apartment complex at the Coffee House Apartments. And Jordan Baker is outside, and you're going to get a little bit of that early, and then everything from that point forward, after we get into it, about 20 or 30 seconds, is all fresh to me too.
Third-party report that there's someone pacing outside of the RP's bedroom with a gun.
I will pause from time to time just to explain some things. RP, reporting person, I think. Okay. Sometimes RP is responding person, but I believe it's reporting person. So she says the RP, someone is pacing with a gun outside the RP's bedroom. I think that's the reporting person, which is Jordan Baker in the parking lot. So again, some of this early start, I want to make sure you understand some of the terminology. RP, which they're going to say a lot of the time, is going to be responding person or reporting person, I think, which is going to be Jordan Baker, who called the call in. And then they're going to talk about Brent here in a second as well.
2039.
4682, identify the people there.
Subject in the bedroom is a Jordan Baker, late 20s, and then a Brent, unknown last, 35-year-old male.
And which one supposedly has a gun?
First of Brent is outside the bedroom, possibly.
So again, Jordan Baker is the 20-year-old in the parking lot reporting the call. Brent Kopacka, or she says Brent, last name unknown, 35-year-old male approximately, in the apartment, possibly with a gun, is what she's reporting.
47, clear the other call. Not the weapon of
2040.
406, same traffic.
Real quick, 2040, when she says 2040, I believe that is the time. So I had a little chart up on my screen. What's 2040 in military time? Fuck it. It's you have to subtract 12 from 20. What, 840? So 2040, I think, would be 8:40 p.m. I had a chart, and then I had to reboot my computer, and now I don't have my chart. So sometimes when they say things like 2040 or 2044 or whatever, they're reporting military time. So anyways.
Hold on, 468, I see the one male got out of the apartment. The avoid to contact anyone so you can get him to move a ways away from the building.
Okay.
68 arriving. Walking in from Benoit. 406 arriving on Idaho.
2043.
responding unit. I found a subject with a similar name, like suicidal calls in the past.
Copy.
So that was interesting. So she says, I found an individual with a similar name with suicidal calls in the past. So they're talking about Brent Kopacka, possible suicidal man pacing in front of a apartment. They said Jordan Baker has already gotten out of the apartment. And then somebody reports in and says, hey, I found a guy with a similar name. We've had other calls about suicidal behavior. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because what we're hearing, 8:40 p.m. is when this is happening. So 8:40 p.m. on December 14th is when this is happening, when the call came in. The standoff happens, I think Brent Kopacka is shot and killed around 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's a lot of hours, right? It's 8 hours of a standoff. So we're just getting started. So, all right. So what we've heard here is that Brent Kopacka may have had other suicidal calls in the past.
Any luck on finding that other person that got out?
My partner's talking to him now. I'm trying to get exact location.
47 in the area.
Oh, 406.
Go ahead.
If there's any available WCPD units, if they could respond from the Bishop side and park near the Sunritza building and walk in.
What's happening there is an officer from Pullman Police Department is asking if there's any WSU PD responding and giving them a staging location nearby the Coffee House Apartments. So again, to kind of review for those who don't know the area, Pullman Police Department would be the city of Pullman. Washington State University is in Pullman, Washington. So you've got Pullman Police Dispatch asking about whether WSU Police Department, the campus police department, is going to join in this, and they're giving them a staging location where the cars can stage. Later, I do know that there's some body-worn camera footage where you see the officers pulling in and staging away from the coffee house apartments and walking up on the coffee house apartments. Is DAGO in the house? Hey, DAGO. Let me see if I want to see if DAGO can take this link and wants to join me on audio or on video camera while we're doing this breakdown, so we can talk together. If DAGO wants to join me, I sent the link in the member only chat. Let me know if you get that. I'll give you a second to see if he wants to join. So again, just to clarify, officers are going to stage near the coffee house apartments, and then they're going to walk up on the coffee house apartments. They've cleared an area. They're talking about Jordan Baker, who's gotten out of the apartment. Brent Kopacka, suicidal individual, reported with a gun inside 311A, top floor, backside of the coffee house apartments. So that's all that's going on right now. Let's just give a moment to see if DAGO is going to join us on the stream. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. DAGO, are you going to jump up? All right, I'll just go ahead and start the stream again, and we'll continue if DAGO types something or jumps on. There's DAGO. There's DAGO. Okay. Hey, what's up, sir?
What it do? What it do?
What it do? What it do? Yeah, I'm just about a minute in. I'm a wordy motherfucker, so I'm trying to explain some dispatch. It's so cool having you here, really, because I was just explaining to people that I'm not a dispatcher, so I don't know a lot of the terms and codes and stuff like that. So if you hear a code that you recognize and can add some light into it, it'd be very cool. I don't know how long you can hang out, but I'm listening to the dispatch. As I was telling them already, this is it's about 8:40 p.m. on the 14th of December, 2022. Jordan Baker is called. He's out of the apartment. They're talking about a suicidal male in the 311A, the apartment at the coffee house apartment's top floor. An officer just asked if Washington State University PD is going to join them, and they're giving them a staging location near the coffee house apartment. So that's what's going on right now. You ready to get? And I have a parental advisor that's kind of laid over your face, DAGO, but I almost want to keep it up because this is live raw feed. I don't know what we're going to hear. This is all audio, but later on we could see something that we're not ready for. So I kind of want to have the advisory up, but I hate covering your face the whole time. That sucks.
Yeah, Amanda said I've been redacted.
You've been redacted. Here, oh, look at that. I just did a little layout change and moved you up above the parental advisor. Fucking perfect.
All right. Absolutely.
This is gonna little hard to hear. Again, I'm listening with headphones because there's a lot of garbage stuff. I was just telling them a lot of time officers have mush mouth when they're talking on dispatch. I swear to God, it's so hard to understand some of the officers. But
yes.
All right, let's go.
468 Coleman.
Go ahead.
Jordan's in the back parking lot. Dark gray jacket, blue pants, red and black striped shirt. He's the one speaking with my partner. He's the one that got out.
Copy. 06 and I are going to go contact them. 4668, correction, 4768. I believe it's going to be the top floor at your end. I saw a light coming on and off. If you want to keep an eye on that, that's your ear till we figure out what we got.
Now again, at the coffee house apartments, from the street side, this is all happening on the back side of the coffee house apartments. So you need to pull into the parking lot and go around to the back side where there's a lot of parking back there. I've heard this before, DAGO, where there was a light going on and off inside the apartment. Yeah. I don't know what that's about, but by the way, I did see a little tiny piece. By the way, I don't know how much you know about the shooting, but I saw a little bit of piece of a body-worn camera when I was kind of going through footage just to kind of figure out what order I wanted to attack it. And they were pointing to the apartment where there was an open window on the 3rd floor, and he was telling another officer that's the window. So it was kind of like in the middle of the building, not at the either end. It was kind of in the middle. And they said there was some broken glass and some evidence on the ground. So I don't know if that's broken glass from they shot the window and the glass fell on the ground. I'm assuming that's what happened, but
probably, yeah.
All right.
447406.
Good.
They're saying the windows overlook the parking lot side towards the main. Also, they're not entirely sure which windows belong to that apartment.
Copy. Is it the end apartment?
So I know I'm talking a lot. So they're talking about the fact that the windows overlook the back parking lot, and if the person has a gun, I'm presuming they're concerned about the guy shooting out the windows at people down below. So they're talking about trying to figure out which window is his. He's up on the upper floor, and the window faces the parking lot. So I'm assuming that it's kind of a logistics discussion about making sure that they know that the shooter could be shooting at people outside of the, if that's happening. Again, whether or not anybody got shot at or not, we don't know.
I believe they're describing it being between the two stairwells and on the top floor.
And I know I stop a lot. So he says he believes the unit is between two stairwells on the top floor. So again, this is towards the center of the building. You can go up one set of stairwells or the other set of stairwells. The unit is between two stairwells, if you follow the logic. So it's kind of the middle of the building between two stairwells that they're starting to narrow in on.
Copy.
47 comes to us. You have to move in.
Pullman 330, 34 and I arriving.
2051.
We need all units to come to 311, top floor.
06, 330, do you need any less lethal options? Like
4768.
Go ahead.
There was something he said about a less lethal option. I don't know what he said exactly, but so they're asking units to respond to 311A. So again, the officers are, I think, from what I understand, are getting called to kind of converge on 311A. I know from body worn camera, they'll stage outside in the hallway. They'll post up positions with semi-automatic rifles, and a lot of this is just them standing in the hallway outside the door of 311A, trying to get Brent Kopacka's attention and get him to talk to them and kind of thing like that. Again, roommates inside the apartment with Brent Kopacka, I think we know Jordan's been evacuated. I don't know when Christian gets out. Do you know, Dago, when Christian got out of the apartment?
I don't know the exact time. I don't remember that, but I remember I do have it somewhere from when I was going over this.
Do you think he's still inside? Do you think he's at this point still inside, or did he get out before the calls started coming in?
He was out. He was out from
my
understanding, from what I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So there's at least two roommates that are involved in this, and they get out of the apartment, leaving Brent by himself inside the apartment is kind of the scenario. All right, let's continue.
We're just trying to confirm that we have everybody out except the armed subject.
Copy.
Pulling 406.
Go ahead.
If you could activate SWAT, we need people to respond for a barricaded male with a gun.
20.
So two things. They did say they're trying to verify that everybody got out except for the gunman, and they're already calling SWAT in for this incident on a barricaded male with a gun in the apartment.
0647, I'm going to beam out to go get a shield. Did you want us to start working on getting the parking lot so nobody can come in or out?
Yes, but that's a lower priority. Maybe you can have this CRA unit work on that.
Copy. 330, 47, did you copy?
Good.
Of course, of all your calls, you also look for the subject and locals who need help with that.
If it's possible, can you repeat? That was really scratchy.
Did you check phone to see if you can find the subject we're dealing with and get phone numbers ready and solve those eventually?
2130.
The 2130, I think, is military time, calling out the time of these different communications.
Yes.
Yeah, OIC 406.
Go ahead.
How many do you have working?
Quattro.
We need all of you but one.
Just
1,000 lace off.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, different states and areas in different states, they carry different codes for these, like a signal 5 or a code 3 or code 2 and stuff. If you hear those, they're different in different areas, but mostly like signal 1 or code 1, code 5, they all relate to the same type things. Or like if you hear law enforcement claim like 187, things like that, those are all relatively the same. Okay. 187 stands for it murder in turn. Okay. Code 5 typically here in Ohio was like cardiac emergency, haul ass, get there now, things like that. And as they go on, I can pretty much relate to some of these things if you guys are questioning it, to tell you what some of them mean. So
yeah, it's fascinating to have that little discussion, because again, it gets confused. A lot of numbers get thrown out. Sometimes it's like patrol numbers are listing their car number. Sometimes they're listing, and then there's times being called out, which is 2140, whatever. And then there's codes that mean something to the officers, like a code that says what kind of basic things going on in short form. So there's a lot of numbers that are hard for people to follow. But
yeah, if you hear somebody come across the radio and it says like 43 10-1-43, they're naming their unit number, which is the vehicle they're driving, or their badge number. 10-1 meaning radio control. They're reporting to radio control from car 43 per se, or unit 43, whatever you want to say. And then, like he said, if they come off and say like 10-1 43 15 17, okay, that's meaning in contact with car 43 at 3:17 p.m. in the afternoon is what that means. So
that's awesome. I love having people that know the shit be able to speak to that. That's amazing.
And like I said, it varies sometimes from the coding from state to state sometimes, you know what I mean? But relatively most of it's kind of the same. So anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, no worries. And for those who are curious, I think you can look up online your different states' codes. So if you're a person that's a buff and listening to fire and police dispatches, you can get your local codes and figure out what the codes are if you listen all the time. So a lot of people do that.
Absolutely, you can do that.
All right, let's go.
0647, confirming you just want one shield.
If you're able to bring both, so one would be good.
I think when they're talking about bringing shields, they're literally talking about like riot shields, right? Bulletproof shields. So they're asking if they have more than one shield, and if they want more than one shield on scene. All right.
Yeah, and sometimes don't read too much into it, guys, because sometimes it's more basic than you believe. Yes.
Yeah, right. I mean, they don't know a lot about the situation yet. They're just kind of getting some preps going. But
especially if it's coming out of Moscow. These guys aren't the most intelligent. So,
Yeah. Well, this is Pullman here. This
right.
Yeah, it's probably the same kind of scenario, though, really. All right, let's go.
Copy. Also, we do have a negotiator here.
Oh, possibly have a negotiator on site. So I didn't hear that they might have had a negotiator talk. Although I will tell you a little bit of, I've looked through little tiny random samples of what they gave me. There were some screenshots in here as well. They've literally got screenshots. Listen to this, Dago. I thought they've got screenshots they sent me of the negotiator talking to Brent Kopacka over his phone, saying, "Hey Brent, can you talk to me? Why won't you text back?" So there's some screenshots of text messages supposedly back and forth as I'm trying to get Brent's to talk to them over text messages and different ways to communicate with them inside. So
6-4.
Go ahead.
46 67 57 64 on duty at the station.
2104.
446 406.
Go ahead.
Can you call my work cell?
Firm, I'm just about to pull in.
Copy. The complainant should be somewhere at the north end of the parking lot, or towards Benoit in a red SUV also.
Go ahead.
the complainant is in the parking lot in a red SUV. What does that mean exactly?
So Jordan was in the back parking lot on the back side of the building, if I correctly remember. And that's where they were sitting before they stayed in the back parking lot for a while, if I remember right, when this all started to go down, blah, blah, blah. And that's how they were. I think there was a video we watched at one point 3 years ago that they approached him there from that vehicle, spoke to him, got the whole gist of what was going on, and then proceeded to go inside.
Yeah, see, I remember seeing a little video again years ago where he was standing outside. So the whole in a red SUV thing kind of threw me off. Like, was he sitting in a car originally and he got out of a car, or?
Yeah, initially he was, from my understanding, he was sitting in a vehicle until they got on scene. Then he gets out of the car and talks to the first responding officers that showed up there.
Okay, cool.
You can work on getting as much background info as you can there.
46, 47, 47, I have his contact number. The RP. Affirm. Copy. Can you text it to me? Affirm.
There's a third party RP next to the
Only 46, I'm on scene.
any units coming to the third floor. Make sure you come into the south stairwell.
And again, he's talking about if you're coming to the third floor, they're talking about which stairwell to take, because again, 311A is between two stairwells. So they have officers that come up on two different stairwells because the unit's in the middle between two stairwells, or somewhere near the middle between two stairwells.
I was gonna say that the entryway on the stairwell that they took was right in the middle of the building where they went up in, and then they went into where he was at. So yeah.
Sometimes it's good to kind of try to explain to people what they're seeing. I wish we had a picture of the apartment on the backside to kind of show for reference, but yeah.
Yeah, I do that all the time because I want people to get, like, I'm a visual person. Okay.
Me too.
I have to be able to visualize what we're talking about. So because I'm that way, I imagine lots of people are. So I just kind of try to explain every little piece of what we're talking about so that they can see it for themselves as well.
Yep. Perfect.
Copy. Holman 467 arrived.
2109.
47 on scene.
21.
Calling 457 as the air coach.
Negative.
Holman 406.
Good.
If you could close Pullman air for my call, have everybody else go to Sierra.
This frequency is closed for emergency traffic only 21.
0646.
Good.
Sounds like he's possibly skipping.
Dago, can you shed some light on kind of what was said? She said something to the effect of for emergency traffic only. Have they shut down certain channels then so that regular traffic doesn't come across? Or
Yeah. So what they'll do is, as there's multiple circumstances like this, if they're in certain circumstances, people have scanners. Okay, people have pad scanners, or they'll have the portable scanners, and they listen. Okay, and I'm not saying that's what happened here. I'll give you a couple scenarios, and they listen for PD and things going on. So in turn, they'll go from like 1 to channel 3 for private talk, so that nobody can hear them coming. Now, on other circumstances, what you just said is the answer to this question here for this one, okay? Because they don't want any other traffic breaking up what they're talking about. They don't want to have any bit of a second to make a mistake by some other unit popping in across their radio traffic while they're doing what they're saying. And if they miss one word, that's it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, right. I mean, you don't want somebody calling in on a noise complaint or a dog barking and having be misconstrued as being part of this shooting standoff kind of thing.
100%. That's exactly, you were right on point with that one.
All right, let's continue on.
For nights also.
Good.
One of the employees for this complex is here, wants to know if I need keys.
Go again.
Do we want to have keys for the apartment?
Keys.
Have a door code, but the more options, the better.
So they have a door code, I'm assuming, for 311A, and then the landlord also wants to know if they want keys for the apartment. So that's what I got out of that.
The landlord does not want them destroying the property, is what that's all about.
Right, don't bust my door down.
Right.
Yeah.
Copy. What apartment number?
311-311.
Copy. They're en route.
Home 464, I'm out.
2113.
0657. Records wants to know where you want SWAT staged.
Sounds like SWAT's already staged. That's pretty quick. That was fucking quick. Really, they just called it in.
And I'll be honest with you, that was it was odd for me that they were, maybe because they're close, I don't know, but that was like boom. It was super close. I'm trying to remember I've been on the campus recently. I'm trying to remember where the Pullman Police Department is, but man, that was cool. I mean, to assemble people that was fast. And that's the thing, is usually SWAT has to be put together. Most places SWAT, like here, for instance, SWAT is a collage of different members of multiple departments sometimes, or just within that same department. And all of those guys are typically at home in bed or at home eating dinner or whatever. And they got to get them all, they're on call, obviously. And they got to get them all together at one time, one place, and get them on scene like as fast as they can. So that was quick. I mean, really quick. So
it's funny because you and I are talkers and thinkers and like to explain. I mean, I think you and I are both teachers at heart. Like we want to teach people what's happening, right? So it's funny because I love that you're the same way. Like I wonder, for example, could it have been that one member or a partial SWAT is staged and they're going to continue to assemble, and so it can be part of the answer of like, well, SWAT stage, maybe they're not there all together, maybe they're not assembled as a team, but maybe somebody from SWAT is on thing. They're like, well, hey, we're staged. And
they probably have unit commander on scene, and then as things are moving along, you have everybody else falling in play, and then of course they bring in the sniper at some point, okay, or sharpshooter, whatever you guys want to call him, and get him in place too when they decide that that's going to be the issue for the night. But they usually have him on, probably coming immediately because they don't know what's going to happen with this situation.
Perfect. By the way, I've been noticing we're picking up more and more people on the members only thing. So welcome to the people who are joining in, SE and Seahawks fan and Row and SRB and we got lots of people that are showing up for the members only feed. So thank you so much. We have a treat having somebody who has experience with dispatch to listen to dispatch calls. And right now we're just covering Pullman Police Department dispatch calls on the initial phone call for Brent Kopacka, a potentially suicidal individual who is in apartment 311. And they say 311, but 311A is the part that throws me off. Why 311A? The apartment number is just 311 on the outside. I'm trying to think where the A comes, unless it's different bedrooms inside, but that's a weird numbering system. I don't know.
I always thought that was odd too, to be honest with you. I didn't quite understand that. I did put the word out and let everybody know what you were doing, so hopefully that's helping bring people in.
And I wonder, are you able to co-stream to your members only at the same time, or how does that work? So like, could you?
I don't do the members only thing, and I'll explain that later, but I can stream it if you wanted me to. It's up to you.
I've been hesitant to stream it to the public side. I would rather do it as members only, and then take clips for our lives that are public later, because I don't know what's going to happen on the live show. So I'd rather this be members only until we know for sure that like happened on the other video. They literally read a guy's medications to the officers, and I thought, oh shit, that's kind of like HIPAA kind of like they're listing his medications, and that's not for something everybody to have out there in the public.
Right.
So, all right, sorry about that. Let's go.
No worries.
46, 67. Right. Yes, roommate. If his unit has a balcony, looks like there's a couple different designs. 67, 330. Houston unit does have a balcony.
So they're talking about whether or not 311 has a balcony or not. Obviously, that would be a concern if they're worried about a shooter coming out on the balcony and shooting at people in the parking lot and things like that. So I think that's a tactical kind of discussion about the balcony and stuff. Plus, it helps them identify what room they're looking at.
Yeah.
40647. Good. One roommate advised me that he was in the military and has PTSD.
So that, I believe they're talking about Brent Kopacka. They're saying one of the roommates has informed them that he was in the military and he has PTSD. So they're talking about Brent Kopacka at this point, I believe.
Pullman 447 at PD. Pullman 447 have a name for Washington 11 attached to the call.
Go ahead.
Last is Kopka, King Ocean Paul, Adam Charles Kane, Adam First Brent, Boy Robert Edward, Nora Tom, Middle L Lincoln, date of birth is 10/04/1986, mail through Idaho.
Whoa, wow. Hold on. That was interesting. So first of all, what you heard there was them basically phonetically spelling out Kopacka's name and his details, including his date of birth. All that was, I caught all that. They said out of Idaho, which I was thinking now, Brent Kopacka's of course, he's living in Pullman, Washington, but they said Brent Kopacka's out of Idaho. Now, that's not a big surprise, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. His family did have a house in Lewiston, Idaho. He's got several locations in areas of Idaho, but I guess being that he was living in Pullman at the time, I was like, oh, out of Idaho. And it's funny, the reason I bring it up a big deal about it, Dago, is I've got a public records request into Moscow saying, do you know who Brent Kopacka is? I know they do. I know Moscow knows who Brent Kopacka is, but they might pull this whole thing. Hey, that's a Washington guy, but they've got history on him too. So
out of Idaho. And I like I said last night, we were talking about him that if going back 3 years ago when we first got into the Kopacka situation, when Idaho happened, there was that statement made, and I've always been very, very curious what the true relationship between Chief Fry and Kopacka was when it was brought up that he's very familiar with him and they've had previous experiences, in Moscow in the past. I'd like to see that kind of stuff to see exactly what went down, because that could play to what our thoughts are on the situation with Kopacka to some aspects. So
how does it? Yeah, how does it not? If Fry, I didn't even hear that until the other night when you said it, and I was like,
Yeah.
Fry had a relationship with Kopacka,
Yes.
and again, Brett Payne gets put in charge of the investigation of Idaho.
Right.
Yeah, and they're both they're both 82nd Airborne. They're both Brent Kopacka in this shooting and Brett Payne in the Moscow case are 82nd Airborne in the exact same combat team, the 4th combat team. I've been verifying. I got FOIA records in, and they're verifying. Yes, these guys served together in the same exact combat team. At the same time, I'm pretty sure. Before I was not sure they're at the same time. I'm starting to get narrowed in that they were both in a company or a battalion team. Not battalion, the BT, the combat team that didn't even exist until 2006, which would put them in the same time.
And that was interesting to me back when we first figured that out, and we didn't even know that completely way back then. And I had even asked, because SRB, she's one of my lead mods. She's in here now. Her husband's 82nd Airborne as well. They were actually stationed at Bragg for a while and all this stuff. So, we asked her, and it's huge. It's massive. There's many, 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 many people that are part of 82nd Airborne.
Yes.
That were at Bragg, this and everything else. But if they're in the same combat unit that were stationed at the same time in some spurt, that's crazy. That
narrows it down a lot, because everybody keeps giving that shit. You need to realize how big 82nd Airborne is. Yeah, right. But we're not talking about just the 82nd Airborne.
No.
They were both paratroopers. They were both in the same combat team.
Special combat unit, yes.
Yeah. So it's way, and why? People keep saying, I don't have the receipts. I know you do, Dago, right? But if Fry and Payne from Moscow are in Pullman for this incident, why the fuck are they there? What do they have to do with this shooting? Other than, my speculation is, they believed Brent Kopacka was involved in the murders in Moscow, Idaho, and that they had their eyes on Brent
that
Kopacka.
Had to be that's exactly what I thought at that point. Like, there's no other reason to have 4 to 5 Moscow police officers when you have Washington State Police that could have been dispatched there. You also have SWAT there already. You have Pullman PD and WSU PD. All of these entities available. Why did you bring Moscow in? I know they do mutual aid at times, but it's just way too coincidental for me. It's always bothered me, especially with who they brought over there. Fry, Payne, Blaker, and Gunderson, from my understanding. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself. But those are like main. Okay, we know that Payne was the lead detective on the case. Blaker, in my opinion, was the actual lead detective from Moscow.
Yep.
Payne's the chief, and Gunderson is a officer of sorry, he's a sergeant, I believe. These are all important people in Moscow. So for them to be on scene, it's an issue for me. So.
It's I know I'm going super long. We'll never get through this fucking audio, but you're right. It can't be overstated how weird it is that major players and the Idaho murders are in Pullman for this particular standoff with Brent Kopacka. Right. And yet they will act like we're assholes for even suggesting that Kopacka had anything to do with the Moscow murders. Then why the fuck are all the major players in the Idaho 4 murders over here for this incident with Brent Kopacka? Because it's like they're playing us for fools. This guy has absolutely nothing to do with it, but all of our most important people in the Idaho 4 investigation are here for this standoff with this guy. And I have to wonder, was it a mistake that somebody shot and killed him? Like, did a Washington State SWAT guy take him out, and they were like, fuck, like, you weren't supposed to take him out. We needed that guy for this Idaho murder. But it's just
very, very likely could be, Lee. Very likely could be.
All right.
They're attached.
406. Go ahead. Did you want me to contact the PD? Sorry, go again. Who do you want me to get briefed from at the PD? 447 has the info, and 446 is with us with info for negotiation. 407.
Good.
Do we have a location for incident command yet?
Negative. I've just been sending people to the area of Benoit and Layton. 464 plate.
Go ahead.
WSU 641 Mary.
2140. 64 Paul, when you return.
Go ahead.
A no color 2011 Ford Fiesta 9 of 23 to Naive Tovar Valdez and Fabian Solano Tovar out of Vancouver. 21.
What was that about? Do you know what the Ford Fiesta they're talking about in an individual's name? Oh, Dago went muted. He must have got a call.
I never did understand what that was either. I'm sorry, I was grabbing another cup of coffee or trying to.
I know, I need a drink too.
But I did never really understand a whole lot about that. If anybody else in here did, of course, feel free to speak up. But that one thing I didn't catch. I'm sorry.
I know this is super long-winded. I got to grab a soda. If you want to talk to the audience a little bit while I go grab a soda, I'll be right back.
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody. Wonderful to see you guys over here with us today. I appreciate you all. I see the blue crew popping in here left and right. Great seeing you guys. And, of course, the denizens. All of you guys in here supporting Lee on this. Amazing. And this is it's kind of exciting to me to know that he got this information, because there was a lot of stuff that we did get finally, but not all of it. Okay. Some of this stuff we just forever. I remember, for those of you that were with me when we were looking into this, we were talking about FOIA, trying to FOIA some of this information, and they would not do it because the case stayed open for so long. And being that they kept the case open so long, it made me wonder, are you doing that on purpose so that people cannot FOIA the information? And it's always been an issue with me in my mind, but it is great to see you all here supporting this and wanting to get these answers as well, guys. This is very intriguing information. Some we know, but a lot we don't. So I'm grateful to Lee for him being able to get this.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because when the case quote unquote ended because Bryan Kohberger pled guilty, I was trying to tell people now we can get started. The reason being is because everything's protected under, this is an open investigation. But
Right.
As soon as he pled guilty, it's not an open investigation. So public records now, it's game on. It's almost like we're now just going to get started, because until they actually closed the investigation, we couldn't get anything. But now that it's been closed, now we can start getting some actual meat to the investigation.
It's wild too, because this case, Brent Kopacka situation, was legally, from my understanding, at least the way they explained it, considered separate. It had nothing to do with, and it is considered separate, it has nothing to do with the Idaho 4 case, but it does at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So now that everything has shut down, so on and so forth, I think we need to be getting this type of information, other types of information, anything that could possibly be connected to that case, because you just never know. There could be something out there that is connected that we never even thought of, and boom, there it is. And that'll give an answer that we would never imagine. Your cat's killing me. I love that.
I have a feeling that this is going to become a rabbit hole, that once you get something, then you're going to hear something and you're going to go after that public record, and then you're going to get something else. And then some of us are going to start getting killed. And then because we're going to get too close to the truth.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that it seems like, and other people have said this to me too, that things are going weird lately. And the more we delve into this, maybe that's why, because we're getting closer to things that they don't want us to, is all I'm saying.
I do 100% believe we're starting to get closer to things, and it's going to freak some people out. So, so it's a dangerous time if you're a true crime investigator, really, because it could be, as you get close to something. I mean, I know we're taking forever, but literally, I just read a story about a judge that just got killed that was overseeing a case because the judge was getting too much information and they killed the judge. Yeah. So it happens all the time. You start getting too close to big things and people end up dying. But
Delphi, Greg Ferenczi, that was an FBI task force agent. Poof, right in front of his office, like nothing happened.
Damn. All right, let's keep going while we still are alive.
Yes, that's a good point. Good point. I'll be right back.
407, 402.
Ruben, Alex, go. You've got 4 moving up to you. Copy. Send us a flashlight signal when you get close. We're in 305. Copy. Ruben, Alex.
So that was interesting while Day goes away. It sounds like they've got officers that are coming up, and the guy asked them to give them a flashlight signal as they're coming up so they can probably understand, make sure that the people who are coming up on them in the dark is friendlies, right? So kind of interesting logistics support there. We'll continue on. And welcome, 1-1. We got law enforcement in the house. What's really cool, and by the way, I don't know if you're available, 1-1, but you could jump on the mic with us if you'd like to. But it's kind of cool because we've got law enforcement in the house. We've got EMT firefighter experience in the house. We've got people who are used to dispatch and stuff like that. So listening to dispatch calls with people who are experts is kind of cool. Getting a bunch of 3 long-winded people in the same room might be dangerous for everybody, but hey, we'll continue on.
Directed JRD where to be? My plan for JRD was going to be in the parking lot if necessary. Copy. It looks like.
Oh, that's where I need some clarification. JRD, my plan for JRD. Does anybody know what JRD means out of our team here? Of anybody who's familiar with what is JRD? My plan for JRD was, and I didn't catch that. And unfortunately, Dago's muted and 1-1's not responding. And so I got to make sure that give them a moment to respond if they can. Otherwise, I'll just get right back into the audio and we'll just clarify that later maybe or something. Did you catch that part, Dago, at all?
I slightly, but
they said something about JRD. He said something about JRD. Do you know what the initials JRD is? JRD. Yeah. It would back up, but it's really hard to back up. So we'll just, if it comes up again, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll just pay attention. JRD. What was the context of this?
It was something like I was going to wait for something to decide on JRD or something like that. I can't remember what. So I don't know what it was.
That could be somebody specific they're bringing in from SWAT. Maybe the sharpshooter. Who knows?
Oh, could be, or it could be Jordan. JRD is close to Jordan. I don't know.
And JRD. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, let's continue.
Yep.
Copy. I'd like Ego in place before JRD comes into the parking lot.
Before JRD comes into the parking lot. There it was again. What can we do something before JRD comes into the parking lot? Is that again maybe JRD is an initials of a SWAT guy or something like that, or the negotiator?
It could be that. It could have been like a joint response department or something like that, maybe, which is what they call their SWAT. I don't know. You say 1-1's in the house.
Oh, look at that! Look at that 1-1 Joint Reconnaissance Deployment Unit or Development.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. See, like I said, there's things I'm not going to know because I'm not law enforcement that he will grab. So bingo. Thank you, 1-1.
Nice. That's amazing. It's great having experts in here. Of course, he's not here on thing to tell us exactly what a Joint Reconnaissance Development Unit is, but I would say joint means it's more than one entity. Reconnaissance is like watching or, overseeing something. So yeah, SWAT, right? Okay, there you go.
It's going to be, there's different names in different areas for their SWAT. They call them different things. So yeah, that would make sense to me.
All right, perfect.
407, 402. Let's set up Sun Rental. Copy. Okay, you're gonna.
So I think they're setting up incident command at Sun Rental is where the location is, which is nearby. And again, on body cameras, I saw some of the police officers rolling in on scene to a place that was away from the coffee house. So they have their incident command away from the coffee house a little bit, probably so the shooter can't shoot at the incident command, I would imagine. But anyway.
1-1 saying that the GRD is probably a specific division, which makes sense. I've seen that too, of the SWAT team. Just set up specifically for okay, from my understanding, I know we're talking a lot, like you said, but I want you guys to understand all this stuff too, because there's specific versions of SWAT that they bring for specific reasons. Okay, like hostage versions of situations, they'll have a different version of that, or this situation or another. So that's all I believe that means. So thank you, 1-1 again.
And I think this is an amazing format because it's so educational for all of us, for me and for the audience, right? Because they're getting to understand, at this point, very, very early on, SWAT's been called, SWAT's been staged, more people are coming on. There's a negotiator already been called, and that person's coming in. So as we all work through it together, I think it's a cool educational process for everybody involved on putting together what happened that night.
Absolutely.
406, 402. We set up incident command as Sun Rental. Negotiators will be placed here. Copy, 406.
0607. Yeah, 46 headed knock.
Affirm. She just left. She's on. Not sure if it's our unit, but someone peeking out the window. Copy. Take cover.
We are 0760.
Not sure if it's our unit, but somebody's peeking out of a window. Yeah, don't make sure you don't shoot random person in an apartment next door.
Right. And let me say real quick too, guys, I'm sorry, but you got to understand this situation is very pertinent because this is not your random somebody's got themselves cordoned off in a room and they're threatening to do this. This is a man that has extensive military background training. Okay. That's therefore understand this is way more dangerous than most typical, like if you're everyday 3-tooth Joe Billy guys in its trailer locked down, then what this is going to be. Okay. They could handle that situation a lot easier. So they're probably bringing in specialized units to deal with this situation because of the danger and probable dangers on this is what.
All right.
Protocol.
Let's talk. That's amazing what you just said. Let's work this through a little bit. So yes, let's recall as 82nd Airborne, former military, he's literally trained as not elite, but not special forces, but as like an elite force. So he's definitely the 82nd Airborne is more of an elite force kind of thing. They're really trained, and he was trained in a combat deployment team that goes behind enemy lines and is expected to engage in toe-to-toe combat. In fact, he got a Purple Heart and got injured by the enemy in toe-to-toe combat. So he's trained in combat, which is different than your average everyday perhaps civilian police officer who wasn't trained for toe-to-toe fighting in a combat, thing. So you have to keep in mind in some regards, this guy's more dangerous than they are because he knows shit. He's been trained to kill, whatever. So I don't know that's all running through their head, but factor that in. Now, the question I'm going with it, Dago, is this. Is this perhaps at all an explanation of why Payne, for example, gets called in early? Because they're like, we want somebody who has experience with 82nd Airborne in particular. So you know how these guys are trained. Let's bring in somebody that knows how that guy's trained. Could that have happened? And when did he come on scene?
100%, because like you said, and I'm sure SRB can play to this as well with what her experience was too. We had 82nd Airborne. There's multiple versions of them. Like there's the Wind Talkers, and like we have Navy SEALs. We have this. We have that. Every unit has a specific like reason and job per se within the 82nd. Okay. So, we got the jumpers that they just jump in, blah, blah, blah. They do that. I don't know all the details on that. I have a very close friend that was a Wind Talker. They called him. Okay. That's what he did. And we don't know if he's doing hand-to-hand combat and these guys are like frontliners that go in behind the scenes like the SEALs do. Again, that makes him 10 times more dangerous probably than the other, just the jumpers and stuff like that, because he has a specialized unit that he worked with. So again, that's what, in my opinion, what that means. So again, sorry for talking so much, but again, like she said, there's lots of different divisions within the 82nd. So there you go.
Right. And the reason why it's important, and I think this is great, because I think we're all intellectually honest with ourselves even, right? Yeah. So we're asking questions. Well, why the hell was Fry and Payne there on the scene when it could be that if they showed up late, were they called in because, hey, we got an 82nd Airborne guy over here who's military trained, and they're like, well, hey, we'll send somebody over that's got experience with 82nd Airborne. Like, could that have happened? It's just one of those questions you have to ask yourself. Well, yeah, is that the explanation?
She says when her neighbor, when she was there, was Special Ops Green Beret, also being in an 82nd that are jumpers. So you got multiple units within that unit, within those units, if that makes any sense, Lee. So
yeah,
it's very you got to be careful. And so bringing Payne in, that could be a variable reason as to why, knowing that he was 82nd, they brought him in. He may not have worked within the same units or division that Kopacka did, but it's still a good reason to, hey, this is a brother of sorts. Maybe he can be. Maybe they tried to use him as a
kind of like a negotiator, like somebody to sympathize with. Yeah, exactly, because that could have been it. Be like, hey, brother, they would have a camaraderie, right? So could he have been brought in simply to say, hey, dude, I know what you're going through. I was there with you. I was in the shit. We know we had the same thing. Could it have just simply been? Could it have been something like that?
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah. All right.
Where are we meeting at? Sun Rental. 0760. Which way are we to come in from? Bishop. Got it. Good.
Let me know when you want me to start calling.
Copy. Not yet. 6-8, come on. Command, Paul 13, where do you need me? We're set up at 405. We meet 402, 406. Go ahead. Emergency teams in place, and I'm coming to you. Copy that. Paulman, 402.
Good.
Can you contact fire and ask them if they can have an ambulance respond?
Stand by.
Yeah, the ambulance. Ask. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I did. No, I was just saying, stand by. We did that. EMS was involved a lot in a lot of these because you have to be ready, you know. So
yeah, so they've got a shooter on site. Somebody at any second, somebody could get shot. So they're essentially basically staging an ambulance or nearby. So in case somebody gets injured, they got somebody on scene.
Which is how I got to learn some of these situations from being there and sitting for hours sometimes just watching the situation and doing nothing, you know.
Yeah, and do you want to? I don't know if we want to spend a lot of time on it, but a lot of people have the misconception that police and fire are they're required to put their lives on the line for you. They don't have to put their lives in danger. They can stand aside and wait and make sure it's safe before going to the scene. There's really a misconception. A lot of public, well, you get paid to do that. They don't get paid to die. They don't get paid to put their lives on the line. They have a duty to make sure they go home to their family as well. So sometimes they're just staged nearby, but they don't go in until it's safe.
I'll be honest, guys. If you see an ambulance pull up and walk into a situation, and a lot of times you'll see EMTs or medics grab the little portable oxygen tanks, shoulder it, and walk in the door. Well, guess what, guys? That's our weapon. That's what it always was, to protect ourselves, because we don't carry guns. Some of them do now, but back then we didn't carry guns. We weren't armed, so we had to have some kind of protection. And I'm not gonna be. I worked with guys that would not stand up in some senses and wait for PD to secure a scene. If somebody's dying, our job is to save their life. So we go in sometimes when we're not supposed to. You know, hopefully everything's going to be okay. But I've been in domestic situations where guns were pulled and people were throwing rocks and threatening to do this and do that. And you're trying to save somebody that's laying there already, that's been beat up or beat down or shot or whatever it is, because of that situation. And you have to make a choice. Do we wait for PD to get here, or do we let this person possibly die? In turn, you do what you do. Yeah.
And yeah, right. So it's a good conversation to have about the reality. Like, you're right, because there'll be some, right, that just I'm going in, I don't fucking care that there's a life on the line and I'm going to save somebody. But on the other hand, it's like somebody else in the same department might say, it's not my fucking job to go get killed for this guy. Like, I'm staying and waiting until it's safe. So sometimes it's an individual's decision.
It truly happens too. And it's a political thing too, unfortunately, because if, say, for instance, I go into a situation that I did not allow PD to secure first, and I go, something happens and they'll come to me immediately. Don't you dare try to sue. You knew what protocol was. Standard operating procedure is this, this, and this. And you decided to go in, so you ain't getting shit from us. It happens. I'm telling you. So
crazy.
It is crazy. So sorry.
All right, we're going to get back to this. One is smart. He says that he does have a duty to make it the devil's advocate at the end of the night. So when he's out there, he's making sure that he's safe so that he can get back to the devil's advocate show. That's fantastic. That's the way it should be done, sir.
Amen to that one, buddy.
All right, let's get back at it.
Laytah at Bishop.
22
Alex Rubin. Go ahead. An element saw movement of a female in the apartment directly to the right of 311. If you're able to send someone to try to evacuate that apartment again, it's the next door to the right.
Now that seems to be an ongoing thing. They talked about somebody was peeking out of a window next to the apartment. I think they even said a female before. Now they're basically saying, can you get in there and get that female out of the unit? So I assuming it's kind of a looky-loo, a girl that's, peeking out the window all the time at the cops and the SWAT down below. And now it's becoming a problem, right? They're like, we got to get that woman out of there because she's a distraction too. Like, everybody's trying to, they want to make sure that nobody's opening a window next to them to shoot at them from the window over. So all things considered, you need to simplify this scene, right? Get the people out around the unit so that they isolate everything. And yeah.
And they still didn't do it right, in my opinion. I think that female is the redhead that they interviewed at the one point that Lana had covered way back when. I'm pretty sure that's who that is. But yeah, that you're right. Absolutely.
Very cool.
Confirming south. Correct. 0568. Go ahead.
I'm at the south stairwell with equipment. You guys told me all coming in.
Copy.
0607.
Go ahead.
We are ready to call when you're ready.
Copy. Getting closer, not quite there yet. Call 13406.
Go ahead.
Your location.
I'm on Latah Street. To your stairwell.
Copy. Ruben, Alex, we contacted the subject who refused to leave, and now we have 68 back with us. Copy. Can you...
They contacted the suspect who refuses to leave. Is this the female that's next door that they tried to evacuate and she's refusing to leave her apartment, or?
That's kind of what my guess was. Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Send 68 down to the parking lot, and I'm going to pair him with Polta.
406 321. I'm on scene.
Copy. We'll be coming to you. Where exactly are you?
I'm going to be at Sun Rental.
Copy. 402, 406.
Go ahead.
We have elements in place on both ends. I think we can make a negotiator call now.
Copy that.
So elements in place on both ends, and they can make a negotiated call. It sounds to me like they've got the building basically secured on both sides. They've got probably on both stairwells, but they have elements on both stairwells, and now they're basically saying they're ready for the hostage negotiator, I guess, to make an attempt to call and kind of because now that they got the scene kind of surrounded, now they're going to see if they can start working on talking them out down or whatever. So
yeah, they got everybody in place, and they're going to move in now and try to start that situation right.
07, copy.
Copy. 405, 406. Go ahead. Just making sure you copy Paul 13 and 68. They're in the stairwell to the north. So if you get movement, you want to shout nice and loud. 407, 406. Any contact?
Message was just left on the voicemail. Second and third phone number attempted contact.
405, 406. Okay. We need a 321 Ram and a Halligan. 464, 406. Go ahead. I'd like you to quickly make your way over to the stairwell in front of you and be on the building side of the parking lot. Walk into that stairwell, and I'll meet you on the bottom floor.
Still no contact via phone or text.
Copy that.
still no contact via phone or text. I'm assuming that means Brent Kopacka. They're trying to get him not to answer the phone or texting, and he's not responding. So
right.
Come over. 407, 406.
Go for 407.
When he thinks it's appropriate, we could have somebody try to hail from the SWAT position at 305.
Copy.
there was so interesting sound of a female or something that kind of making noise in the background that was interesting. I didn't know what was going on, but it was an interesting sound.
Sounded like somebody was freaking out a little bit. Yeah.
It did. Yeah, it did sound that way.
0607 324 set of you.
Copy that. Alex Rubin, I'm stepping into the hallway. 402, 406, your location.
In the command post.
So when an officer said he was stepping into the hallway, I'm assuming that means up on the third floor. Again, there's body cameras of them staging right outside the door of the apartment and stuff like that. So it sounds like somebody's on the third floor. They were in the stairwells, but now it looks like maybe they're up in the hallway as well now at this point, it seems like.
Still making attempts to make contact. No success at this point.
Rubin, Alex, we're going to start making contact. Copy. Affirm. Contact inside.
So I think what's happening is so they've staged on both sides. They're approaching the apartment. They've asked a negotiator to try to reach him. He's not responding to text or calls. Now the officers, I think, are going to start attempting to knock on the door and approach him from the hallway as well. So that's what I think's happening.
I agree.
He made contact with Brent. He said he was with me, but his still under respond right now. I heard main contact and no, not responding. 406, 444, where do you want me to? Respond to Sun Rental, and we'll give you instruction from there. Am I safe to walk on the street down there? What's your current location? State Patrol. Hold the air for now. 44, hang out at GRD, I'll meet you there. He came outside, saw us, talked to us, and went back inside. He said he's not going to surrender.
That sounded like Brent came out, talked to them, and went back inside and said he wasn't going to surrender. Is that what they just said? So he's had face-to-face interaction with officers, came out, talked to them, and then went back in and said, I'm not going to surrender?
I've always challenged that. I don't know that there was ever face-to-face. I believe that at one point the door was opened. They were back out of the way, but they were verbally back and forth with him. That's what I think we heard that at one point, but no one that I remember ever saw him, at least not that I can think of. And that's always been an issue with me, Lee, because we don't know. We don't know, because I never saw him. You've never seen him. Nobody that's watched any of the video has never seen him. And take it for what
the only video I recall kind of quote unquote seeing him was kind of like you said, the door was open to the apartment. You could tell there was no furniture in there. And I think you saw somebody's back, whether it was Kopacka or not, who it was. I think maybe I saw somebody's back. That's the best I think I've ever seen. But it was interesting because it seemed like the call just said, that he had come out, talked to them, and then went back into the apartment and said he's not going to surrender. So now it sounds like they're saying he had a face-to-face interaction with them and they didn't, and he just went back in the apartment. That's what it sounded like they said.
It does. It does.
All right, let's keep going.
He says he does not have phone service. Ruben, Alex, if we could get a phone for delivery, that may be possible.
So several things are interesting there. They're making it clear they've had a face-to-face communication with them. He said, I'm not going to surrender. He also told them that his phone's not working and he doesn't have cell service. That's super fucking interesting to me as well. Because again, according to Darren Duncan, when they arrived at the apartment after the shooting, his phone had been factory wiped. And he's saying, I don't have phone service. Now, talking through devil's advocates, does that mean the phone always had been just in a wiped state? He didn't have cell service because he had wiped his phone before the incident. You see what I'm saying? So if Brent's saying, I don't have cell service, and Darren says his phone's been factory wiped, we always assume that the phone was factory wiped after the shooting was done. What if it was before? What if Brent Kopacka didn't have service because his phone was already factory wiped? He didn't have anything. And I don't know. I'm just working through this is new for me, brand new information.
I've always wondered that. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up, because where he was at was it was like a corner of an apartment building per se. Okay. Why doesn't he have cell service? I don't understand that, because everybody else that lives within the area, I would imagine, has cell service. You don't hear complaints about it. There's no reports of it. There's no this, there's no that. Jordan called, okay, at some point, and they made a phone call to 911 with that, which I don't know if that has any bearing on it, but it just makes you wonder, is all I'm saying, because of the situation,
Yeah, it does. It's funny because I can't stop my mind from thinking, did Brent Kopacka himself factory wipe his phone before this standoff? And that's why he doesn't have self-service right now, because he hasn't reestablished his phone or something. Is that a possibility? And it's funny because they say, well, can we get a phone to him? So the negotiator is going to try to deliver a phone to Brent Kopacka so that Brent Kopacka has ways to talk to them from inside the apartment, but it's not on his own phone.
I also have some other issues with this too, Lee. If you have well-trained, which that's in question too, I'm sure, but trained negotiators trying to talk to him, why would he not come forth out of that room? What good reason does he have to stay in that room, to stay barricaded per se? Okay. What good reason does he have to do what he's doing right now? Is this a severe mental break? Is this something what triggered that severe mental break? Or is this real at all? That's the other side of it. So that's the big issue right there.
In a way, I wish, and maybe you can speak to it, but in a way, I wish I had one on camera, because one of the things that I'm thinking to myself is that face-to-face interaction. So somebody asked in the chat, well, if they had face-to-face interaction, why didn't they take him down at that time? Well, that's a good question. Did he come out holding a gun? Did he come out without a gun? Was it a not an escalated, like, what? It makes you wonder about the face-to-face interaction. If they had an option at that time to just grab him real quick and take him down and make an arrest, why not do that? And so what was the situation when they had a face-to-face with him?
Here's my issue. I'm glad you said that too, because SWAT is body armored up. Okay, they got vests on. The only thing unprotected typically are like hands and head and things like that. Why didn't they storm that room at that moment that door opened up, or take a maiming shot, I'll call it, instead of taking a kill shot at the end? They could have disabled him at the door, stormed it, took him down, locked him up, and that's the end of it. But that never even seemed to be relative to the situation. And from what I've gathered from this, okay, it just never seemed to be an option. It's crazy to me. So
it is, and I'm trying to work it through. And like, part of me thinks, okay, well, maybe they thought that it could be peacefully negotiated still at this point, because no shots have been fired at this point. In fact, I think the official story is Brent Kopacka didn't start shooting until just before they shot him at 4 a.m. So no shots get fired throughout the night. The story, I think, was supposedly he didn't start shooting until just before they shot him. And that was why they shot him, is because he started shooting at them. So they shot back. Again, I know you're like, I'm not sure anybody fucking shot anywhere except for them.
Exactly.
Right.
So.
But it's interesting. It's all those things that in our mind we're trying to work through. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm not trying to bust all the police officers nuts and stuff like that and say but you have to try to logic your way through this scenario. What happened there?
And there's multiple things they could have done. We have tear gas. We have all sorts of different options that could have happened that never even, almost like with the Idaho 4 situation, where the 911 call with Nunez shows up with the defibrillator right away instead of doing the CPR. You have other options building up to the final result. Nothing was attempted, in my opinion. So,
yeah, this is just, we're going to get right back to it, but this is super interesting to me, hearing that they had a face-to-face interaction with them and a discussion where he tells them, I'm not going to surrender. They let him go back into his apartment. They had enough of a discussion with him face-to-face that he could tell them that his phone's not working. So there was obviously, according to this, there was obviously a verbal interaction with the two of them. And it sounds like it was face-to-face with the door open, and that they allowed him to go back into the apartment and shut his door after having a conversation. That's what I would have to make out from what they said.
Yeah, you can hear them talk to somebody in the one video. I don't know that it's Brent, because we can't verify, but we hear a voice. We hear one of their voices and another voice from the other room. That's one absolute. That's for sure. But who and what and why? That's all I'm saying.
All right, perfect.
Copy. 07, copy.
I don't think we have that kind of cable, though. We're going to have to relocate.
Chris, Alex.
Good.
Can we just donate a cell phone and give this guy?
Yeah.
So they were talking, it sounds like they were talking about literally trying to run a cable phone to him, but they didn't have a long enough cable phone. So they're like, well, can we bring him a cell phone? So they're trying to get communication options to Brent Kopacka inside the apartment, and they can't run a long enough corded phone to him. So they want to see if they can get a cell phone in there to him. So they're just working through logistics on how they can get communication.
They could have just handed one of the police officers' phones to him and said, here, but like, everything's got to be so ridiculous with this.
I mean, you don't want to hand them your cell phone if you got nude pictures of college students.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah.
All right, that's not appropriate. This is why it's members only live right now. All right, so let's get back at this.
That probably works.
Chris, Alex.
Good.
He has a phone. It just doesn't have service. We're going to have him call 911, and dispatch can patch him to you.
Copy. That works.
Clever. So he's got a phone, but it doesn't have service. That's interesting. So even when your phone has no service, you're always allowed to play a 911 call. So what they're saying is, let's have him call 911 from his phone with no service, because the 911 call will always go through, even if you have no service plan. Yeah. And then they're saying, if we can get him on 911, we can patch him through to the negotiator. That's pretty interesting scenario. I just
a good idea. Yeah.
Thought it was cool. All right, let's see.
Tell us the one we're using.
Oh, that's really good. Has he been told he's under arrest? Affirm. 40.
Did they say, has he been told he's under arrest? Or what'd they say? Has he been told what? He's under what?
I didn't. Duress?
Okay.
I thought it said duress.
Maybe.
He's under duress.
Okay.
402. 92 is here. Where would you like it? Go again. SWAT medic has arrived. Where would you like it? Send him towards the armor.
EMT guy, SWAT medic. So there's a SWAT medic in addition to fire department's ambulance on scene. How do those two interact with each other?
From my understanding, a SWAT medic is somebody that's trained within the SWAT team that will armor up, and they can go in and handle like medic issues with having SWAT training as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. So almost like a combat medic. It's somebody who's ready, who can go into a more hot situation, whereas the fire department will stand by until it's safe. But a SWAT medic might be more inclined to take a risk because they're body armored and trained.
From my understanding, some of them have like negotiator training as well to help maybe with mental health issues and so on and so forth.
Very cool. All right, let's keep going.
0607.
Go ahead.
We have not gotten calls in yet. Neither is
0705. No contact still since he went back inside.
Copy. We have not.
Again, he went back inside. So I keep hammering at home, but they've had a face-to-face open door communication with him, with the door open, and he went back inside after saying, "I'm not going to surrender." So I just think that's interesting still.
What was the last time you heard called out, Lee? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. If you can, if I don't catch it, listen to hear the next time call that they give.
Okay.
We can contact you now.
Yeah, I copied that. 402, 406, 405, 406. We're going to move armor into the parking lot and turn on the lights. Copy.
For those who are 405, 406, are those unit numbers, or are they, what are the?
402, I wrote those down. I think 402, 406 are incident command leaders. I believe. And a lot of times you hear them repeat it back. So it's like acknowledging. So somebody's breaking in and giving their numbers like 402, 406, and then someone responds to say 420 or 402, 406, go ahead is kind of what they're saying. So a lot of times you're hearing those numbers. It's somebody calling in to say, I got communication, and then the other person acknowledges them and then they give their communication. Yeah, I think those numbers, those two specifically, because I've heard them a lot through this, I think that's incident command.
Okay.
Great. Chris, Alex.
Good. Go ahead for him.
Sorry, Ola and Alex, are you guys in the hallway?
We're in the stairwell at the other end, just outside the hallway.
Copy. If he comes out of the room, we'll pursue that way and hold up as we get to the end of the hall. And then we'll pursue if he goes south.
Copy.
468, 406.
Go ahead.
So now they're making strategic decisions on if he comes out of his room, which direction they're going to pursue from, things like that. So tactical discussions going on.
Right.
Right. Let's keep going.
I'm bringing another body too.
405, Paul 13. We just heard a yell from inside.
Coleman office, and the search warrant has been granted.
There was something there about a search warrant. I just heard. She said she was reporting on a search warrant. So there's been, and I hate to stop so often. We'll never fucking get through these tapes. How the hell are we going to do this?
That's how you have to do it, though, so that everything's understood completely. And it just takes time, unfortunately. I've learned that a long time ago.
Yeah. So there was a lot of allegations in the public that they came here that night to serve him a search warrant. That does not seem to hold up with what we're hearing. They were clearly called in on an incident, and during the incident, they get a search warrant. So some people think it happened the other way around. They came. Here's the rumor. They were there to search his place for a knife. They came there looking for a knife, and then it turned into this big ordeal. That's not what's bearing out in the discussion. They came there for a suicidal individual with a gun. In the course of that, they get a search warrant, and they're coming with the search warrant. So I just want to clarify that because it's some of the rumor that's out there.
I will say this, sir, if you don't mind. That I've heard that too. Here's the thing. We all know something's not right with this, never was, along with the other case, okay? If this is what some people think it is, that could be part of what the issue is. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we will have plenty to talk about it over the times about whether or not this was really what happened or a stage type of thing. But
I'm
Yeah.
down here in the hole. I'm looking up at you, but I'm in that hole.
Okay, let's do it.
402, 406. Good. FYI, patrol is going to be reclaiming 2 patrol cars. They're probably going to grab whatever's closest and take it unless you have equipment in it you need. Copy that.
0668.
Good.
We have the armor move about 30 meters to the south, so we can hear the contact team if something happens.
Chris. Oh, and Alex, are you only making notes? Alex, Ruben. Okay. We're looking into moving equipment for negotiators at the moment.
Sounds like that officer was whispering at some point and talking very, very quiet on the radio dispatch, which indicates to me that he's close and in the hall and not wanting to be overheard by occupants in the room. That's my imagination running away with me, but he definitely whispered at some point and then talking really, really quiet. So he must be close to the door, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they talked about armor being moved. I'm assuming that means an armored vehicle. I do know that I saw a picture of an armored vehicle outside. So when he talks about, can we have the armor move a little further up? I think they're talking about an armored vehicle.
They use that as
like a shield.
Like a shield, basically, yeah. And they kind of stay behind that.
Right.
Copy. Phone box. Oh, for 02 is looking into that. Copy. I think it'll be helpful eventually, but we're doing okay if you don't want to do that. Sounds good. I'll speak here us when he wants to and communicate with us through the door. We have a place for them.
0602, they have the stuff if you
Copy. This is come around the south end of the building into the south stairwell. That's the best place, and then they can go up to the 3rd floor. Alex, Ruben. On inside JRD, are you able to send one of your people to guide negotiators? Go again. I am in the armored vehicle. Can you send one of your people to guide negotiators to position?
0602, negotiators are moving up.
0607. Which side do we access the south stairwell from?
The end closest to Sun Rental.
Do they need to come around the front? No one's from SWAT's met them yet. 0664, I can guide them in if you want.
0506, do you have an answer?
I sent Lane down to meet him.
0607.
Go ahead.
Do you want us in the same hallway that accesses his apartment?
So you could do the 2nd floor hallway if you have enough wire, or you could be at the far end of the 3rd floor hallway. Either one.
Copy. We'll go 2nd floor. We got plenty of wire for that.
Copy.
So they're going to run wire from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor. Is that wire for the communication phone? Because they were talking about running a wired phone, but I'm not sure which wire they're running. But
that's how I took it too.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that made sense to me. Unless they were going to try to blow something, which made no sense. So I took it as a communication device.
And there's a lot of stuff we didn't comment on because I'm trying to not talk every 2 seconds over the audio, but there's a lot going on. But if I see something that I think is obviously, or you as well, Dago, I don't know if you want to just break in or raise your hand and I'll try to watch for you and we'll pause the audio.
0605, let me know when you're in the stairs and we'll come get the phone from you.
Yeah, so they are talking about running a phone because they're talking about the wire, the wired phone that they're trying to get to the 2nd floor, and they can run a wire from the 2nd floor to the. So they are talking about a phone trying to get communications to the apartment.
Coordinate with 07.
0546. We're in the stairwell.
406, 402.
Good.
If we have elements that are out in the elements, we have some patrol officers in that we can do some rotating out for patrol.
Copy. Right. 6406. Go ahead. If you guys want to rotate out, I'll let you coordinate that.
Copy. I mean, it's 64. Whoever can replace 67 and I at the south stairwell, I'll guide you to where we're positioned.
0607. We're ready to call when you're ready.
06 is me anytime.
Copy. We'll go ahead and call.
We're sending a civilian down the stairs. Copy.
0506.
So they're placing I'm assuming they must have gotten a phone up to the apartment and they're placing a call. And again, we've already stated he doesn't have cell service. So I'm trying to figure out how they did this. Did they open the door and throw a phone in there, and then now they're going to place a call to the phone? Like, I'm trying to figure out the logistics on how they're placing the call.
I think
the phone.
They took my understanding from what I guessed is that they took the phone up to the door, set it down, and walked out the door and yelled, "Hey, there's a phone outside the door if you want to grab it," blah 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 type things. My understanding.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine, but it's just So, anyways, we'll keep listening. So they said heard it ringing. So there's a phone somewhere nearby, whether it's in the hall or whether they've opened it up, whether he's grabbed it and the phone, whatever the case may be, they brought a wired phone up, and it's ringing, right? So where it's ringing, I'm not sure, but
It'll ring at some point. We're just gonna try and tell them they're there to talk to. Paul and Alex, is that you guys have the door open? Confirm we have the door open.
they have the door open.
Yeah, closing it. Let us hear what's going on inside. Will do.
So it sounds like the door's open, and they've got the door open. They're putting a phone inside the apartment. They're wanting to. It sounds like they're asking, "What do you see when you're looking in through the open door?" So, and again, what that means is, just to walk through the logic, is Kopacka's not in the living room, right? So they got the door open, and they're looking into the apartment. And again, the only footage I've seen is basically an empty living room with no furniture in it, in a hallway. And somewhere down the hallway, you might have seen somebody that had their back to the thing. So I'm just trying to work through the logic, but it seems like they have the door open. They've got a phone that they've been able to get into the apartment, and they're asking for a little bit of report about what they see.
507, no, I just
rang. Go ahead for 05.
Dion has to ring the phone again.
0256 5606. Go ahead. If you head towards the Sun Rental driveway, I'll be there. Copy the moving here. 0705, go ahead and ring the phone.
Copy. Calling now.
Got two sides. I couldn't copy that. 0705, you shield the phone.
Again, there was a whispering officer. So they're talking about ringing the phone. They're talking about the door being open. I'm assuming the guy whispering might be the guy with the open door, literally putting a phone in the apartment, as what I imagine is happening.
We've got two residents coming out south stairwell. They're going to come around to the south side of the building.
So two residents are coming out of the apartment. I'm assuming just people who live in the apartment complex, and so they're just talking about that.
0705, go ahead and ring it for about a minute.
Copy.
0705, you can go with the ringer for a minute. 0705, you can just keep with that every couple minutes. I don't know, 45 seconds on, 3 minutes off, and we'll talk to him and then call him again. 0630. I've got a resident on the third floor asking if I'll come to you. Copy.
406, 402.
Good.
We have additional residents in 111 who would like to leave the premises. You guys can escort them out.
Copy. Oh, we got 458, 406.
Good.
Yeah, somebody's in the apartment. Hey, can we get the fuck out of here if you guys are going to shoot somebody? Yeah,
I've always had issues with this too, Lee. Like, the evacuation of this building was so absolutely ridiculous the way it was and wasn't done with this situation. I've never seen that done like that. I've been on probably 3 different situations like this before myself. Evacuation is like #1 priority to make sure nobody else can get hurt, and they didn't really do it. Now, I know there were a couple people that refused to leave for specific reasons, but for the most part, they'll force you out of the apartment or your home for specific reasons because it's just not worth it. You know, some people are hard-headed. It is what it is, but they didn't even try to, in some senses, from what I saw. That kind of bothers me.
I don't want to bore everybody with long conversations, but I'm a question kind of guy. That's how I learn shit.
Yeah.
So I want to know, for example, the lady who's peeking out a window right next to the apartment where the shooter's at, right? Or the not shooter, again, he hasn't shot anybody, he's got a gun, maybe. Okay, maybe. So the apartment next to 311, a woman is peeking out, kind of a looky-loo situation, it looks like. I would understand that. But at some point, they literally approach her because she's, one, a distraction and a concern, because every single time that curtain opens, they have to worry that somebody else might be shooting at them, kind of thing, I would imagine. So that it's a concern for their safety as well, and her safety, because if they have to shoot at a window, she could easily get shot by accident as well. So it's interesting to work through the logic. So they go to her and they ask her to leave her apartment, and she refuses to leave. At what point, it's that whole citizen's right. You can't make me leave my apartment. I live here. I'm not fucking going anywhere, versus you're a danger to our officers because you keep peeking out the window and making us have to look to the left to go, what the hell's going on in that window next to the, like.
I have physically watched SWAT and PD officers walk people from their apartments, literally, like grab them and say, let's go now, and rush them out. End of story. And I don't understand how that's even okay. Okay. Especially if there's a probability that he may have a weapon and he's going to shoot through walls and stuff. Come on. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It just never did.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. It's just, it's interesting. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but it's interesting between the whole, your rights as a citizen, can they force you out of your apartment in an emergency situation, versus protecting their safety, because it's a danger to them as well. Every time she peeks out that window and they have to be distracted by what's happening next door, kind of thing. So, but anyways.
Of course. Yes, absolutely.
Can you guide residents from 111 out of the building? 405, 406, I'm coming into your hallway. Ruben, Alex, we have not been out. Copy. Proceed with your plan at your pace. Copy, we're going to wait about 10 minutes, and then we'll try and push the door. Sounds good. Willis, Alex. Garrett, Alex. Do you have your little parrot drone? 0605.
A parrot drone. What is a parrot drone?
Tiny little a drone with the camera on it that they could fly up around like windows and stuff to look inside.
Yeah,
they can see
just a small aerial drone that they can fly up to the windows. Yeah, interesting.
Moscow's drone might be a good idea if we get the door held open.
Well, there you go.
They got a different. Yeah, okay. They're talking about using that inside. So okay.
But it's interesting also because this is the first time that they're acknowledging that they're going to maybe reach out to Moscow. So again, when did Fry and Payne and et al. Arrive on scene? Was it after some kind of moment when they said, reach out to Moscow and see if we can borrow their drone? Like that's one of the $1 million questions, right? Is how early was Moscow Police Department involved on this incident? But
they had just, if I remember when we looked into this, I think they had just started with their program, not like within that period of time, I think.
Yeah, Amanda B in our just chat just said Moscow's drone program started in 2022.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah. I was right about that. Thank God.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, so it's just, again, you and I we're just that kind of, we're questioning kind of guys, like drone, what so then we're gonna like side tangent on what kind of drone and what's a parrot drone and how do the drones work. That's how we learn about these cases. This is how we learn about to do these cases. We ask a bunch of fucking questions and then it makes sense.
100%.
All right, here we go.
Copy. I'll have 02 work on that.
405, Paul 13. I've got a drone in the car if we need one.
Paul 1306, I'll come to you, and then you can get your drone.
So they're already there.
Yeah, he's got a drone in the car. It's funny, by the way, side tangent live. If you got to get going, by the way, I know I'm keeping you fucking forever, and you usually probably go live yourself at some point.
Oh, no,
right?
no, I'm good with this. I can do anything. I want to do this.
It's funny. I'm getting my drone. I'm going to take a drone pilot's license, part 107, so I can fly my drone on crime scenes and stuff like that as well, kind of thing. And so I'm studying for my pilot's test. But I'm wondering, all of these drones in the police department, did they take the same test that I'm going to be taking? I just find that curious because I'm about to take my test. But yeah,
it would be. That is an interesting question. There's different variations of them. Yeah. Okay, obviously a police department's going to have a higher end version of it. Just so if you want, real quick here, I have a version of one that that I've seen used locally here with law enforcement in backstage. If you want to throw that up real fast.
Oh yeah. And it's funny. I got stuff to talk about it too because I'm just a wordy bastard. Hold on a second. Let me
Sure.
remove this. Okay, so that's a drone. Okay,
that's just
it's a drone.
But you see the price on.
Oh, that's the Parrot. That's the Parrot drone
that
they're talking about.
Yes, right there. A version of it. There's different versions, but that's one that I have seen locally here. So I don't know if they have the same ones, but again, that's what that does. You see the cameras on there. The camera has a 60 mount and it twists and turns and all that. So yeah.
And again, I hope people won't find this boring, but I want to point out something. I hope you won't find this boring. Recreational flyers have different rules versus a YouTuber. If you make commercial money off of flying a drone, you have to take a different license than if you're just a guy in his backyard. But here's another thing that's kind of interesting. Privacy rules. So people have, this is really, as a photographer, I found this fascinating. It's a side tangent, so pardon the side tangent. As a photographer, when you have a telephoto lens, you have to be careful about privacy rules. Yeah. The rule is if you're on a street corner and somebody can see you from the street corner, you have no expectation of privacy. But a different set of rules comes in if you're 15 stories up in a skyscraper, because a person on the street can't see you from the street 15 stories up. So you could, now follow the logic, you can be having sex with the windows open on the 15th floor and no one has the right to see you, even though you have an open window facing the public airspace, because nobody could see you from the street. But if Joe Blow with the drone flies up to the 15th floor and looks in your window, watching you have sex in your open window, that is a violation of privacy because you have an expectation of privacy 15 floors up. Now, where am I going with all that? In licensing, I'm wondering, police departments are using the drone to peek into third floor windows that you can't necessarily see what's going on from the floor. So do they have that exemption for invasion of privacy because they're looking into somebody's apartment with an aerial camera that you couldn't see from the bottom? That's the whole purpose of that drone, right? Is to get eyes on something you can't see from the ground. Yeah. So it's just interesting. But
yeah, there's a little article there. It says, Amanda threw it out there real quick, and it talks about the UAV or drone program that Moscow implemented in 2022. It's the unmanned aerial vehicle or drone program. The driving force behind researching and implementing the UAV program came from a series of calls where large areas needed to be searched in an effort to locate vulnerable individuals. 2 of these cases did not have favorable outcomes. Well, we know this is one of them. The manpower and resources needed to search for these subjects was tremendous and very time consuming at midnight. So that just shows you guys what they were talking about with Moscow's drone program, so on and so forth.
One typed in, the NYPD uses various drones, including brands like DJI, Skydio, Parrots, and such and such for its expanded drone at first responder DFR program, aiming to get aerial views faster than officers, aiding searches for missing persons, active shooters, hostage situations, and documenting crime scenes.
Yeah, and like Amanda said, that the person that ran the program conveniently was
is Payne.
Mr. Payne, yes, sir. So there you go. That could explain why. Well, no, because they were there already, but still, that could explain why they were there. Possibly.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If we're being fair and if we're being fair and playing devil's advocates for our own thing, could Payne have been there because he was in charge of the drone thing and they just asked for a drone from Moscow? Is that when he arrives, when they ask for a drone from Moscow and he's in charge of the drone? That could be an explanation. You have to be intellectually honest with these questions, right?
Yes. Yeah. It says the program supervised by Brett Payne and certified through Federal Aviation Administration. 4 officers have obtained and are obtaining their UAV operator pilot's license. So there you go, guys.
All right. I'm going to put this other thing back on stage. And whenever I do, it starts immediately playing the sound. So.
We have your first. We're just thinking about putting this one in reserve so we can hold off on that for a while. Copy that. All 1306 on disregarding.
Copy. Do you have any pole cams or pro cams on the scene?
Pole cams and pro cams, pole cams. Anyways, yeah, they're bringing every camera and drone and shit to the site, which is fine. I just find it interesting.
Because it's in a higher up elevation. So yeah.
Yeah, they could like on a selfie stick, can they stick a pole up there with the camera on it, or yeah. All right, let's keep going.
I've got a scope cam in my have it. 406, 402.
Good. A resident, can you get into 302? Is it too close?
406, 402.
Good.
Residents in 301 would like to leave. They need to be escorted out.
Copy. I'll work. 0605, are you coming to get them or do you want us to kick them out?
And that's an interesting thing too, just from a human interest. People want to leave the apartment because they see SWAT outside and they realize shit's going down, but they would like to be escorted by police because they don't just want to step out into the hallway and have something go. So people are asking for police escorts to get them safely out of the building. But, all right.
I will come get them so you don't have to worry about it. Copy. Once you and they are clear, we'll move forward with pushing the door. Copy. 0506, we're opening the door.
Copy. This is G31. We do not have any resources for motels.
They don't have any resources for motels. So it sounds like people who are being evacuated from their rooms for the night are wanting to see if the police department will put them up on hotels and pay for their hotel since they can't safely stay at their apartment tonight. So that's interesting.
06 30705, you hold the phone for now. 405 406, we are clear. SWAT out. North Hall. 402 406, the front door is open.
SWAT, south hallway.
0605, no movement. Seeing and no response to calling out. Copy. We can.
They're talking a lot about the front door being open and no response, no movement. So they said front door. There's not more than one door typically in an apartment that I know of. So are they talking about the apartment? Is Brett Payne's door open at this point and they're not seeing any movement in the apartment? I'm kind of confused about the front door comment being open, but unless they're just referring to the hallway door as the front door, but it's interesting. All right, let's keep going.
See mostly towards the back room, which we think is the suspect.
Yeah, I think it is. It is 311's door that's open because again, the scenario I've always seen in the footage I saw, they had the door open. You could see no furniture in the apartment. You could see down the hallway to the back bedrooms. All of that is consistent with what they're saying is that the door is open and they think his bedroom's down at the back end, down at the hallway. It's consistent with the video footage that I've seen. So I think they've got the door open to 311.
Copy. I've got a floor robot on the way. Copy.
And they've got a floor robot on the way.
Let us know if you'd like us to put ours inside. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
0658.
Good.
No luck in the bay locker. Is there somewhere else to look?
444 or 406.
Good.
What's the location of your item?
Are you referring to the scope cam?
I think so. Whatever you said you had earlier.
Scope cam is in my charging bay in the officer report room, and the pole is in the equipment room near the SWAT stuff, down below near the climbing equipment.
Copy. 58, you can disregard. You're not going to be able to get to the pole.
0644, that door is actually open for the equipment room.
5806, I'll give you a call.
Yep.
0705, you can call.
For those who are not understanding what's happening, but maybe it's all straightforward, is they're looking for cameras that are at the police station. And so they're telling people what rooms to go look at, where to check to get the pole cam, the GoPro, various cameras. And so people are calling in from the station saying they're having problems finding it and they're helping. So that's all that language is just stuff that they're looking for cameras. It looks like back at the station.
0705, you can resume the phone call cycle.
5844, where you at?
Southside.
0605, we're having equipment problems here. Do you want to see if Paul 13's drone can go in? We got another camera that's almost here as well.
They're having some drone problems, so now they got other drones coming in. And typical stuff. Shit's not malfunction, batteries aren't charged, that kind of shit, real life situation. All right.
SWAT out of south. 0644. I'm ready. I'm heading towards the building. Will us out, let us know when you're at the hall. 44, I'm entering the hallway now. 2721. 327, 321.
Go ahead.
Do you have your gas mask in the patrol vehicles?
I do.
Gas masks. So are they thinking about tear gassing the apartment, and now they want to get officers? Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe so. I'm still trying to catch a damn time call on this. I haven't heard one yet.
Earlier it was like 9:40, I think. It was but and it makes me interested because again, this is early in the standoff because this goes on for 8 hours. So if they're talking about bringing in tear gas this early, what the hell? Like, I don't know. I guess I haven't been in a lot of SWAT standoffs, so I don't know how long it typically takes, but
well, some happen within minutes, hours, some can last days, you know, it depends on the situation.
All right, let's keep going.
So we take the filter from it. Caveat. Call 13-406. Go ahead. Can you get your drone? We'll see if your technology works. Copy. 406-402. Go ahead. Apartment 111 would like to leave. Copy. 456.
Still.
Can you facilitate that?
And it's funny because 111's been wanting to leave for a while and they haven't been able to evacuate them. And since 311 is where this is happening, I have to imagine they're all stacked on top of each other, right? So it's literally the bottom floor right below where this is happening. 111, then 211 be right above that, and 311 will be right above that in a series. So the people down in where the cops are staged on both sides of them in the stairwell, they're like, we want to leave, and they still haven't been evacuated. It's just fun walking through the logistics. So.
Absolutely.
0656, they decided to disregard. Copy. Is anyone on the third floor with no one at the north end? Got it. We're hearing something. We'll move around, see if we can hear anything. 06, can we turn the engine off on the armor? Is that for 06? 07, can you hold the phone? Ever. 0565. Go ahead. Is it coverage for equipment coming down the hall? Affirm. 0568. Go ahead. We have nothing that has changed in the north stairwell. I can't hear you. We didn't hear anything in the north stairwell. Copy.
I'm assuming some of these officers are talking quieter because they're closer to the open door of the apartment or whatever. And so they're having a hard time hearing some of these guys trying to talk real quiet on the open mic. By the way, we're approaching 2 hours on this stream, and this is like only an hour and a half audio that we're taking fucking forever to get through. I enjoy it. I'm enjoying the piss out of it.
There's a lot to talk about, and I think it's important to be able to discuss it all so that it's absolutely understood. And again, I'm a visual person, and I think everybody should be able to get a visual of what is exactly going on there that night. So,
and look, when we go live later, like at 6 o'clock at night, when we start talking to the public and saying, well, you know, that night they had made attempts with drones or whatever, this is where it's going to come from because we spent all this time working through it. So if people want to listen to it live as breakdown, they can. If they want the summary, they can wait until we talk about it, the summary points, and go, well, where the hell did you get that? Well, listen to our fucking 4-hour stream.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Just be advised, we're preparing to put OC aerosol in. 0705.
Got it. Stand by. 0506 coming into the hollow 60.
0705, you can start your call rotation.
Got it. Pullman 467 back out on my top.
1 sec.
0667.
By the way, I don't know if people caught it. They're talking about a call rotation. So they're literally like ringing the phone for 45 seconds that is that they've left for Brent Kopacka, and then giving him a 3-minute break and then ringing him again for 45 seconds. So they've got a call rotation set up, trying to call every so often until he picks up. So that's what they're talking about when they say, I think, when they talk about the call rotation.
Yes.
Anyone specific you like rotated out?
If you could ask 02.
02.
58 or 56, whichever one wants to go first.
Copy. I'll contact.
6802. Are you in the stairwell out of the elements?
Yes.
Copy.
462 406.
Go ahead for 62.
Is there a mount that he needs for the end of it, or just the float?
Mount in and soft.
Copy. 0506, I'm coming in.
Pullman 456. Will be clear for a second.
126.
0705, you hold the phone.
There's a light on the dining area now.
On the main.
That was interesting. There's a light on in the dining area now. Is that inside 311's apartment? So is Kopacka moving around inside the apartment and turn the light on in the dining area? Or is there a different unit? I'm presuming it's 311 that they're saying there's a light on in the dining area. But it seems like they've had the door open for a while. So I'm trying to logic my way through that. But
And it sounds, that's what I took too. Yeah.
Light, and we're inserting a pole camera.
Copy. 5-6, back out on light off.
150.
0705, you can start with the phone again. Vehicle headed 08.
06334.
Good.
I'll be clearing. You'll have 318.
Copy, thank you. 402, 406.
Go ahead.
We're working with a second camera system inside.
Receive.
405, 406, you ready?
Confirm.
406 to all units, less lethal, beanbag, beanbag, beanbag. 0506, I sent to.
did they say beanbag? Would they? Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to go with the beanbag gun.
So a lot of times, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but 406, I think, must be incident command. And so you're seeing like when they say 402, 406, it's like unit 402 to 406, which is incident command. And so you'll hear 406 a lot because that's incident command and the various units talking back and forth for those who are trying to understand. I'm trying to figure it all out myself as we go, but
That's how I took it too.
all right.
We hear coughing outside. 0506.
We hear coughing outside. That was interesting. All right.
Stand by, stand by.
Copy.
07, keep calling. 10-9. Keep calling. Copy, break 46.
Back up.
Ruben out.
Good.
He peeked out the door or the door and went back in to the area of the bathroom. You ready for us to hand deploy?
Copy. Go ahead with.
Now there's an obvious interaction, right, with Brent. They're yelling at Brent. He peeked his head out, they said. So they've had visit. So I'm imagining they've got the door open. They're looking down the hall. Brent's opened his bedroom door. They see him, and then they start having a kind of a verbal conversation, which we can hear through their transmissions. Brent, put your hands up or whatever. So they're interacting with him right there in that moment, right?
Absolutely.
Hand deploy. I think that's what you said.
Copy. Preparing to hand deploy.
06327.
Good.
Depending on what gas we deploy at some point, we want to deactivate the fire alarm for the building.
Copy. 402, 406. Can you ask fire about that?
Copy.
They're talking about deploying the fire alarm or activating the fire alarm and saying, so is that to evacuate the building or what's the fire alarm activation?
I mean, it could be. I just think if it was, it'd be strange because that's going to throw chaos in the midst of middle of
right.
something.
I mean, it would rattle Kopacka as well if all of a sudden fire alarms are going off everywhere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine they would pull the fire alarm in the middle of this, but
No.
it's interesting.
Is OC going to set off the alarm?
I don't know. That's the concern. It is a sprinkler building as well.
Okay, they're talking about deactivating the fire alarm, and they want to make sure they don't. Just exactly what was said. They want to make sure they don't activate the fire alarm and cause a bunch of chaos in the middle of this event. So
I think that was because if they were going to smoke it, okay,
yes, right, the tear gas and stuff,
and it would activate, and it's a sprinkler building. He was saying so. In turn, they don't want to cause that chaos. So yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, they did ask for gas masks earlier, Amanda. So they were talking about bringing in gas. So so therefore, again, deactivating the fire alarm so that the fire alarm doesn't go off and create more chaos in the situation.
Yes, it would have caused all sorts of problems.
Good. In discussions with magnitude, he's saying it might be a good precaution to deactivate the fire alarm.
It might be a good precaution to deactivate the fire alarm. I agree. It's just interesting listening to that conversation. Okay.
Those should not even concern with they're actually struck. Copy. 0602.
Good.
So maybe
on the fire alarm.
That yelling in the background on that transmission, I think is the interaction with Kopacka and the officers. Every so often you hear somebody and you hear that shouting kind of thing. I think that's them, officers or Kopacka, shouting back and forth to each other from the open doorway to his apartment.
Absolutely.
They'd like 9-2 to contact the fire chief.
Copy. Phone 92. Did you hear that?
060 relay.
Copy. 0705. No phone.
Confirm. No phone.
Good copy.
Copy 46. 405.
Before, I think I just saw a little bit of movement in the window you launched into.
Copy.
Just saw a little bit of movement in the window. So I'm assuming that's from the parking lot. So you've got officers in the hallway that are interacting with them. They got people that are out in the parking lot that are watching the windows. So everybody's communicating on what they're seeing. So that's kind of what it's getting to be much more active. And to think, this is early on still. This goes on for hours.
Yeah, it goes on to very early morning hours before it was over. Yes.
Yeah.
0667. Based on coughing and noises over here, sounds like he is in the room that you launched into.
They're talking about hearing him coughing. There's been multiple times they've talked about coughing, and then they're talking about whether they see that he's in his bedroom. And so there's a lot. They're kind of pinpointing where he's at in the apartment.
So it sounds also that they shot gas in there. Here's the thing.
Right. So yeah, right. Good point. Is he coughing because he's responding to gas? But I think it would be early because they just had asked for gas masks, and they had just asked to talk about deactivating the alarm system. Have they already shot gas or not?
It sounds like they said we heard coughing from the area that you launched into. Well, here's the issue.
Oh yeah, right.
These are military guys. These guys are trained how to deal with this stuff without a mask on. So it's obvious that if they did gas him, it didn't work. That's the problem. So
yeah, even Amanda heard the same thing. I think when you said it, I did hear launched into. So they must have launched gas into the apartment and as an afterthought said, hey, wait a minute, maybe we should deactivate the fire alarm kind of thing, whatever. And he's coughing in response to the gas, right? So
yeah, and again, they know how they're training how to fold themselves up or use different things to avoid this as well without having a mask on. It's trained and part of their training. Now they're also talking about, you heard him in the background a few minutes ago say beanbag.
Yes.
Less adverse reactions and stuff.
Non-lethal.
Non-lethal. That's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry. But they're trying multiple options with this situation, it seems, before they do go to the absolute lethal. But at the same time, I'm still questioning how this all went down. I will say that much. So,
yeah, and I've got several people who are saying we need to FOIA request or public records request the drone footage. I wonder if that's a separate request than what I asked for. I asked for all video footage they had related to this. Do I have to specify I want drone footage? I don't know.
What I've seen happen with Jules, yes, I think you need them have word for word what you want.
Interesting. All right. Well, this is how we learn, right?
406, 402, he's on the way. Cover.
07, start calling in.
Copy. 46.
5305. Correction, 06, grab some STDs and we come back. 0667. Go ahead. He's moving and throwing stuff in the unit. Cover that. 06, it sounds like he's moving furniture to barricade himself further.
So they've shot gas, it sounds like, into the unit. He's coughing, and now it sounds like they say he's trying to barricade himself further. Maybe he's trying to block the gas from coming under the door of his bedroom, whatever the case may be. It seems like they're thinking he's barricading himself more. And I would imagine if he's in his room and he's responding to the gas, he's probably trying to cover up air holes into the room to get the gas out of his room, right, or to keep the gas from coming into the room. But all right.
Absolutely.
He's throwing stuff and breaking the.
He's throwing stuff and breaking the windows. Now that's interesting because again, I saw a little tiny piece of footage where it was body cam footage and it was outside, and they said they were pointing to the upstairs thing. That's the room with the open window and the broken window, and there's evidence on the ground. So he was quote unquote throwing stuff and breaking window. Now, why would you break the window? To vent your room from gas, right? To vent your room from gas.
That's why I always believed that he maybe had himself cornered inside a closet with maybe a blanket over his head or something, and from a distance was throwing things to break the window to vent the room before he, brought himself back out into the room.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think how early this is. I mean, a lot's happening. They've already gassed the unit. Right. He's breaking windows to get to maybe vent. He's barricading the door to keep the gas from coming in. I mean, maybe I'm right. My imagination is running away with me. But it seems to me that he's responding to the gas. He's trying to keep the gas from coming in his room, and he's breaking open windows to vent his room. That's what it sounds like. That's a lot of shit happening for this to continue on for another freaking 6 hours or whatever.
And here's the thing, Lee. If you think about that, okay, the mental basis you have to be in to be able to understand the understanding level to do what he's doing in that situation. The dude's not too far detached, in my opinion, to be able to do stuff like that to protect himself in that situation. Plus, sometimes in situations like this, from what I understand, vets that have PTSD and stuff like that, you're throwing in tear gas cans and stuff like this, and that can flash them back sometimes to situations,
Right. That's what one is saying. I mean, you're literally triggering a PTSD event. You're barricading the guy in, you're gassing him. He's like in a combat zone at this point. You're literally recreating a combat type environment for somebody with PTSD. I mean, of course you're going to fucking go into a defense mode.
Absolutely. And it's going to make it more dangerous for them. So once again, it's pretty wild. It is definitely wild.
All right.
405, 406. Go ahead. Are you ready for more 40 millimeter?
I don't want to criticize every little move law enforcement does, but was it a mistake to fucking gas his place that quick? I mean, you got a guy with PTSD, and within the first hour, you're already gassing his apartment and creating, like you said, a combat situation for the guy. Was that maybe a poor choice?
That's my opinion. That's why I brought that up to you like that, because I think it was. I think it truly was. Wow. That may have set him in motion in a much more dangerous mode, okay, than what it had to have been, which in turn, end result, we still know what that is. Could have maybe avoided that situation because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
567, there was just a gun running with gun in there making threats. You were covered, go again. I hear him racking the slide of his gun and yelling threats.
So now they're saying he's racking his gun. They hear him racking his gun and making threats. I find that interesting myself. Why do you need to rack your gun? Hasn't it already been racked the whole time? Stuff about that doesn't make me feel comfortable that that's realistic, unless he's got multiple guns. Maybe he's got multiple guns and he's loading up a bunch of guns. But again, if that's the case, you're literally driving a guy with PTSD into a combat scenario in which he's getting prepared to go to war kind of thing, which you kind of almost created when you gassed his place.
They cornered him. He's cornered in. Okay. And again, that's like having a man that's in battle in a foxhole cornered, and he's ready to defend. That's how they're trained, guys. So this was so stupid the way they did this.
And it's funny because Tommy Boy says they only found one firearm. It's interesting because during the interview with Jordan, they asked, did you know that he had guns, plural, at his apartment? And he says, yeah, I knew he had stuff. So did he have one gun or did he have multiple guns? Because here you're making it sound like maybe there's more than one gun, maybe. But they even asked his roommate, did you know he had guns, plural? And he's like, yes. So I don't know.
But they claimed they only found that one. So figure that out.
I know. Things that make you go, Uh-huh. All right, let's keep going.
Shot fired. All officers are up.
Oh, shots fired. Hold on. There you go. Now, again, we've speculated all along. Did he ever fire at anybody? Now we have a situation where they're saying he's escalating, he's making threats, he's racking guns, shots fired, shots fired. So is he firing? And if that's the case, now I didn't double check. Here's my mistake. Dago, I might have made a mistake. I did not double check that this audio isn't truncated. Are we seeing hours worth of audio truncated? I've always assumed this was a running thing. Is the answer that it looks to us like he got gassed within a few minutes of the first hour? Maybe they've truncated 8 hours of stuff and we're only getting bits and pieces. I don't know at this point now, because you're right. We're not hearing time calls, but
that's what's bothering me. That's what I was that's why I kept asking about time calls, because I wanted to realize that situation. Is this all compressed, or is this the entirety of the whole thing? So yeah,
it bothers me, because if it's compressed, how would they not let us know that they've compressed time? Or I mean, why would we not assume this is a running live feed of the stuff, which makes it look, the timeline's completely shifted if this is 8 hours of talk where they've just compressed things versus live feed. Like, it's a huge difference. Is this the standoff right before he gets killed? And if so, that it either didn't happen over the course of 8 hours, or they truncated a bunch of shit. Like,
and if it is so, where's the rest of it? And it should have every single detail. And then on top of that, Susan Russo just made a statement that I was going to say myself. Very, very, very true. They do say shots fired. They don't say where the shots came from. That's the problem. And I know that sounds dumb to say, but does it really? Come on.
And I just want to reiterate this. You and I both said, holy shit, SWAT was there very, very quickly. If this is all truncated, it would answer a lot of questions. Maybe they didn't get there as fast as we think. It just sounded like they did. Maybe, like, all of this would make sense if this is a truncated audio, but nothing in here lets me know that's the case. So that sucks balls.
Right.
But anyways, it sounds to me like it's truncated, because it sounds to me like we're right towards where he's about to get shot. But
officers are up inside 44 status. I'm up. Looks like he might have fired into the air inside.
Looks like he might have fired into the air, is what they said. Right? Okay.
Anyone in the 300 level, don't come down the hallway. 0602. Good. Are the apartments below vacated?
There was no answer, and they appeared vacant as far as we can tell. 405, 406. Go ahead. I'm currently next to the armor. I do not have ready delivery gas at this moment.
Copy. 406, call 4. We've got ways to deliver gas from up here if needed.
They got ways to deliver gas up there if needed. I still now am super pissed off and bothered that we spent this whole time thinking this was a live run and it could be truncated and this could be hours later. But if it is, then we've got problems. Why the fuck can't we have the whole transmission? Because there should have been traffic about this all night long.
That's my biggest issue right there.
Yeah.
We can hear every detail, unless, and they should be telling you. They should have told you that this was truncated if it is. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
0605. I'm inclined to let him settle down. I'm not sure we want to push him out. Shooting rounds. Copy. 0705. Can you hold the phone? 0605. Are you able to communicate with him at all? We hear him yelling.
Okay. Another shot fired.
Another shot. So they're saying we should let him calm down. We hear him yelling. Another shot fired. So there's lots of talk about he's firing weapons.
They cornered him.
Yeah. Did this happen though early on in the night, or did they truncate a bunch of shit out and not give us a bunch of the calls leading? Like, either way, I'm pissed off a little bit, right? Because I agree. We're completely misled about what the fuck's happening here. All right.
Absolutely.
6806, stairwell team locator.
Affirmative, eyes on 4 of us, we're good.
Copy. 44.
I'm good. He's saying he'll be there a day and a half until we come get him. He seems to be talking. Jim, Garrett. Go ahead. Do you guys have eyes on the window that the fuse launched through?
Affirm. 0644. Go ahead.
I moved around to the south side of the building. I gotta get out of the snow.
Copy. 4406, you can go inside on the second floor, or you can meet me at JRD, your choice.
Copy. I'll pray to the JRD.
405, 406. Go ahead. Looking through the window on the armor, I just saw his head in the bedroom. There's some more items out there.
Ruben, Jim.
Got
Do you want me to scout a position to reposition to see that window? Because that's the only window that we can't see right now.
Here we go.
offer if it's a good time for
0605. Were you guys able to communicate with them from outside?
Earlier in this transmission, they were clearly calling out times. We haven't heard a time for forever. So it's bothering the piss out of me. Why have they truncated this and moved? If this is happening hours later and we're hearing it now, I mean, where are we at in this fucking audio? Do I even have a time marker? We're not very far. I mean, I think it was an hour and 40-minute file, and we're less than halfway through it. So they had to have truncated hours and hours of time. We're not getting timestamps, so we don't know when anything's fucking happening. I'm super irritated because we just spent a lot of time theorizing about how fast things were happening, and maybe it wasn't happening fast at all, and they just truncated a bunch of shit.
And I do want to throw out there that I've always had huge issues with that statement. I was going to say it a few minutes ago, and I just we started talking about something else. But when they said that they hear him racking the gun, and then there's shots fired, I always had issues with that. Always, okay, unless they're standing at the door that he's behind, ear to the door. I don't see because where they were stationed at, they were in the hallway out into the stairwell area at some point, okay, during the situation. And if that's where they were actually positioned at, I struggle with them unless there's, like I said, unless there's somebody in there at that door, knowing that that's what they heard until the gunshot does go off, if there is one. And
things are wrong. Yeah, this is I will say that the time on this file is 1 hour and 13 minutes. We're about halfway in, so we're like 40 minutes into this thing. So this has to be truncated.
I agree with that. Yeah, and we've missed a whole lot.
A lot. Yeah. So it sucks because I feel like we've talked about things that now we know are untrue. It didn't happen as fast as they think it did. They didn't shoot gas as early as we thought we did, which would have been a huge mistake. Maybe there was a lot more time that went by, but
typically there would be. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Go again. Are you guys able to communicate with him outside, or is that just him talking to himself?
That's just him talking to himself at this point. I talked to him a while ago, just before the second shot, and then I stopped. He's using some kind of curtain rod or furniture to break out the window more.
0668.
Gotcha.
If he decides to dive out that window, do you want us to try and contact him, or do you guys want to do it from James?
I'm going to need your help, because it'll just be probably one of us from JRD.
3C, do you guys stand or cover, and we've got 5 here. Work on it.
0506 is continuing to throw things at the window and window frame.
0602.
Yes.
FYI, we do have some onlookers gathering in the Stevenson building on one of the upper levels. They're yelling down. I don't know if they see the sniper element or not.
Fuck.
You think?
Sniper positions taking place, and students are yelling at the sniper.
And I'm going to tell you guys too, in my opinion, my honest opinion, guys, I don't believe Brent Kopacka wanted to die that day. Okay. Because a lot of people have said that he did this because, and there's always two sides to this side, or this type of stuff, that he wanted to die. That's why he did this, quote unquote, death by police, blah, blah, blah type shit. I don't believe that, because if he had a weapon in his hand, it was very simple and easy for him to deal with situations himself, in my opinion. I'm not saying that that's the answer. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think he knew what was going on to certain aspects and that he wanted help. And this is not, they handled this so badly.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we might hear very soon Brent Kopacka being shot because this seems like it's towards the end of this whole event, truncated audio. So we'll see if we can keep going.
Yeah,
here.
Sharpshooters in position already. If they're yelling at him, blah blah blah. So yes.
Yeah.
We will not have a place to reposition unless we close down the street and take it.
Copy. You can go back to the angle you had before.
So they're talking about not being able to relocate the sniper in time. Did that force them to shoot quicker than they would have? Because they're like, well, we can't, it's either take the shot now or we don't, we're not going to have it for a while. But
why didn't they have the streets shut down, Lee? Why didn't they have the entire area cordoned off and shut down? That's another issue I have with this too. It was so disorganized if it's real.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
I think that was another shot. It's hard to tell from in here.
Yeah, it was. Everybody on the stairwell up.
I mean, they're making it sound like he's firing and firing and firing. There's another shot. There's another shot. So that sounds like that he's repeatedly firing. It's weird. You don't hear reports from people in the neighborhood say that there was gunshots fired that night. So that's super fucking weird. But all right.
644. I'm with the element in the stairwell.
Another shot.
From that one sounded like it exited the window.
I saw some movement on the window treatment.
That one sounded like it exited the window and they saw a move. So they're trying to confirm that he's shooting out the window at people, which would give them probably a reason to take the shot, right? Because he's shooting at people. They're saying, hey, he just shot out the window. The curtain moved. So therefore he's shooting at people out here. You can take the shot is what it's leading up to, I think. But
327-402. Go ahead. Does WSU have anybody who could go up to Stevenson? Probably those people should probably move away from the windows if bullets are exiting.
Copy, working on it.
we should probably move away from the windows if bullets are exiting.
You guys are quick.
Anyways.
406, I couldn't copy.
There's another shot fired.
Lots of shots.
406-18.
Good.
Yeah, his window for the satire, his window does face the parking lot in the rear of the building. Also, behind that building is other apartment buildings. So the back parking lot has a fence line and some trees, if I remember right. And there's some buildings behind that, I think. And which is probably where the sniper position is probably one of those back buildings behind the apartments. But there is a parking lot back there, yeah.
I passed the info to 331.
What was the traffic?
331 is going to head over to the towers, get the students out the window.
Copy.
Yeah.
The sniper, I believe the sniper was positioned by the exterior, like outside the parking lot area behind one of the marker signs that marked the apartment complex.
Yeah.
I thought it was closer to the road, like facing towards the building, the front part of the building from what I understood. I might be wrong on that because it's been a long time, but
yeah, I mean, the only road that drives by is on the front side of the building, which would be a bad angle for a shot on the back building, right? So, but there is it's hard to explain. There's kind of like it narrows, and there's it's hard to explain. There's two roads that kind of narrow into a Y there, and that apartment's got roads on both sides. But the only access driving road is on the front side of the apartment, and then there's a back parking lot and a fence line, if I remember right. Yeah. And then more buildings, and then the road behind that. But if that makes any sense. All right, let's continue to go.
0506 seems like he's talking to himself still. Next to this. I can't understand you. Nothing's changed here. Do you want us to think about NFPD? 406 other units, Leslieville, beanbag. Over 406, another shot fired.
30.
He's still shooting. That's like 6, right? Five. And why are they still calling for beanbags if they're getting live rounds fired at this point? Why would they still be going for? Would they still be going for non-lethal response if he's firing at people?
That's protocol, typically, from what I've seen and heard.
All right.
PR002. 301.
Another shot fired. He said.
Last you know, Pullman couldn't copy.
And there was another shot after 1 or 5556.
That's 6.
406 or 405. Go ahead. He's staying in the bedroom below the window frame.
You're very scratchy. We can't copy.
He's been staying in the bedroom below the window frame. I can see him throw things, but I'm not seeing him. He's in the living room now. exited the bedroom with a gun.
So he's exited the bedroom. He's in the living room now. Now the cops are yelling at him again. So he's come out of the bedroom. That's what it sounds like right now at this point. He's exited his bedroom. He's in the living room. And now they're interacting with him out of his room again.
It came out again and went back inside.
And he went back inside his room, I guess.
Okay. 06 is inside Jared. He's talking to himself now out in the hall. 07, try a...
He's talking to himself out in the hall. So is he in his room or is he not in his room? I'm not sure, but okay.
This is such a mess.
It is.
Stop the phone. 0605. It sounds like he was showing us the pistol on purpose.
So he was showing us a pistol on purpose. Did he have a rifle or a pistol?
That it was a handgun pistol from my understanding.
All right.
406, another shot.
Coughing. I heard coughing. Sounds like you hear a female yelling in the background too. So I don't know who that female is yelling, but I heard, huh?
There was a female police officer, nothing fancy, nothing half-assed. She's right. There was a female police officer that was there as well, from my understanding, and she's right about that she lawyered up after this all happened for some reason. I'd like to know why. Okay, because this is all protocol if this is real. Just saying.
All right, I'll keep listening. I don't know about you, but on my headset, I can hear a lot of very, very faint noises in the background that sounds like a female yelling, and it's really faint. But there's some stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And coughing. He just said, "I'm going to murder you," or something like that. So there's coughing. I mean, it sucks because you're getting radio traffic while you're trying to hear what's happening in the back of somebody's thing. But you can hear coughing, yelling. There's a live situation going on while these officers are communicating, or kind of getting bits and pieces in the background.
Absolutely.
All right, let's kind of be quiet and listen to this carefully.
0602. Can we tell what he's shooting at?
Negative. He's staying low in the window. He seems to be an upward trajectory towards the sky out the window most of the time.
So to clarify, what he said was he seems to be staying low in the window and firing up at the sky. So not shooting at people down below in the parking lot.
Right. Not trying to hurt nobody, nor was he trying to hurt himself. And again, I don't get it, Lee. I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm still processing. All right, let's keep listening.
0568. Is that a different caliber he's shooting in there now? It sounds like he's shooting a smaller caliber gun, like a 22.
So, right? Is there one gun or there are two? Now the officers are thinking he's shooting a different gun, a smaller caliber, maybe a 22. I mean, an officer says, that sounds like a different round. Is he firing a different round? Yeah, I think it sounds like a smaller caliber of 22. So is there another explanation for it? Is it the same gun? Is it bullshit story? Did he have more than one gun? All these are questions.
So. That's my opinion, but I don't think so.
All right, let's keep listening.
That's what we're hearing. Hold on, 456. 3 more shots.
3 more shots.
He hit the vehicle that we're in.
He hit the vehicle that we're in. So now they're saying his round has hit a vehicle in the parking lot. Did you hear that?
Yep.
All right, let's keep listening.
Aiming at us now in the armor. Ruben, Jim, do you want us to move back over there and take the sidewalk for a minute in case we have a view? Affirm. Just be careful. Copy. Another round. Sounds like it's towards the parking lot.
325.
So now they're trying to say he's firing into the parking lot. It sounds like it was towards the parking lot. I just said they've talked about a vehicle being hit with one of the rounds. So now they're making it sound like he's actually shooting at people in the parking lot. At least that's what they're saying, right? All right.
And another one that sounded more inside, maybe.
326.
0544. I know the talking's not so much effect, but he's yelling a lot about having his cigarettes, his wallet, his phone. So I don't know if you could work that into the negotiation up there or not.
Ongoing firefight. They're saying, I know it's, but he's asking for some cigarettes, his wallet, and his phone. So can we get that with a negotiation? That seems so out of place in a firefight. Like you're in a firefight, right? There's rounds flying all over the place. Hey, he's asking for it. When did he have fucking time to ask for cigarettes, a wallet, and a cell? I mean,
Exactly.
What is that? What is that?
It doesn't make sense. None at all.
Well, you know what it is? Truncated. It's truncated audio. So was there here's the thing. Again, if this is truncated audio, we're thinking there's lots of shots happening in a short period of time. Were there shots happening over an hour? And was there conversations about, I want some smokes and some cigarettes?
Right.
Like, what the fuck? You can't make anything out of this audio because you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly. And
I'm irritated.
It's beyond irritating. I agree with you.
And somebody asked, can I hear shots with my headphones? I have not heard a single gunshot. Have you heard a single gunshot?
No, and I'm telling you, when I heard this once before, I had my headphones on. I have noise canceling, high definition headphones that are very expensive. I listened in the background. I don't hear a damn one shot fired, and we should be able to pick that up to some aspect. And there's nothing that I can
listen. Logic this out. You can hear him cough, but you can't hear gunshots.
Gunshot. Thank you.
I mean, come on.
You hear the police officers whispering, Lee.
Whispering. You hear whispering.
Thank you.
But you don't hear gunshots. All right.
Missed me.
That's fucking really interesting. All right, let's keep going.
How firm we've been trying. It seems like whenever we start talking to him, that's when he starts shooting.
Whenever we try to start talking, he starts shooting. Okay.
Stop talking to him for a minute. Give him some time. Jesus Christ.
0668. Immediately before that shot, he said something like, I'm high. All 4406. These are actions you need to stop.
What?
Lead the tower. Lead it.
Did they redact shit out? Immediately before that last shot was fired, he said, and then there was a drop off. You didn't hear fucking dick. And then it comes back and it doesn't make sense. Like, did they just redact out what he supposedly said?
I promise you, I almost guarantee you they have done that, especially now that we're realizing it's truncated. They've redacted things. They've done. We're not getting the full story. I'm telling you, we're not.
Listen, here's the thing.
Irritating.
Here's the thing. This pisses me off. But yes, when you ask, so here's the thing. When you're asking for public records, you're asking for segregable information. In other words, they're allowed to redact some things but the stuff that they're redacting does not feel like they need to redact that shit. So it looks like they're redacting shit out. We haven't heard them list a time for fucking forever on this thing. There's no time frame of when this is happening. They've redacted the piss out of that. You can't tell me they needed to redact as much as they have. I'm getting pissed off at this point.
And that's again why I have the issues I have with this situation, because there's so much of it that was redacted, so much of it that was squashed that it's just bullshit, dude. And I'm telling you, this is what they do. When they're wrong about something, this is why. This is what they do when they know they're wrong.
Man. All right, let's keep going.
Got it.
0658. Starting with the people outside. All static. He just said he's gonna go start killing people now, starting with.
What the fuck? He just said he's going to start killing people now, starting with, and I cut it off. I didn't mean to cut it off right there because I was thinking, I just was going to recall. He's telling people he's going to start killing people now. Really?
I don't believe it. I never believed it. I don't believe it now.
Oh my God. All right, hold on. I know I cut her off in the middle of saying starting with. If we can't understand, I'll try to. Okay, I'm gonna back it up just a hair. Okay, here we go.
All static. He just said he's gonna go start killing people now, starting with the people outside.
He's gonna start killing people now, starting with the people outside. Does that sound like fucking horse shit? That sounds like horse shit to me.
You cannot make me believe that. I think that was their stance as to given the
justify the shoot.
Justify. Yeah. Bingo.
It's to justify the shoot. They needed to have a threat to public safety to justify the shoot. That's what that feels like to me.
100%, sir.
All right, let's keep going. Sounds like he's reloading.
I have relief en route. You're looking at a 2.5-hour ETA, though.
Copy. I'm also asking to close Main Street from Bishop to Latah, if possible.
6-4 is handling it right now.
Shot fired out the window. Appeared to be horizontal. After that shot, he said, did I move up the window?
Another redacted fucking bullshit. After that shot, he said, and then blanked out, so you don't get to hear what he said. Why the fuck oh my God, this whole shooting smells like fucking shit. Like, there is an ongoing firefight. There are so many rounds. I didn't hear dick about anybody talking about hearing any shooting that night. And they've got a full-on like firefight happening with him threatening to kill people in the parking lot. And every single time, half the time that they say he's going to say something, oh yeah, no. Most of the time when they say he's going to say something, they redact it until the one moment where he says, he just said he's going to start killing people. That was plain as day. They'll redact the shit out of everything else that he supposedly said. But the one thing that we get to hear that he said is, I'm going to start killing people. This whole fucking thing is starting to piss me off.
Very convenient. Very convenient.
Oh, okay. All right. I got to get my blood pressure under control. Hold on.
Woosah.
Shot fired. Sounded like it impacted something inside.
Jim, confirming that SWAT shot at the suspect. Copy.
Now that was the SWAT team shot. So shots fired all over the place. He's going to start killing people. And I think this is the first time they said SWAT this shot. So is it a one shot, one kill from SWAT and then it's over at this point or what?
I think that they would have called sharpshooter shot if that was the sniper. I think SWAT team may have shot back at him like warning shots, if that's what they're calling it, for him to stop shooting before they put the sniper in effect.
All right, let's listen.
You know the effect?
So they said the SWAT team fired and they asked, do you know the effect? In other words, they're asking, did the SWAT guy hit him or not?
And so they said, and they said one round fired inside, right?
That's right. So it sounds like they're saying, and look, so it sounds like they're maybe suggesting they missed because another shot still fired from inside.
Yeah.
Now, was it a self-inflicted wound at this point? Did he shoot himself at this point? I don't know. Let's listen.
Go ahead for Alex. A fire burning in the bedroom, another shot fired.
There's a fire burning in the bedroom, and another shot fired. So we would have to take it that SWAT missed, and he's still firing rounds, and his apartment's on fire? Like
that. I remember the fire situation, yeah.
And what bothers me, though, is I don't remember fucking Darren Duncan, his friend, talking anything about seeing evidence of a fire. He said it was really strange. There was no furniture in his room. He didn't say, and also there was shit on fire.
Like, right.
Did you just leave out and other shit's on fire? Like, I'm so fucking confused.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And
right,
yes, I think for the questioning in there, Amanda said she was checking to see if Boyd is a SWAT member. We went through that before. Supposedly he is, but there was a big to-do with that. So just letting you know ahead of time, Amanda. Go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
No worries. Yeah.
05 copies. We have a plan for if there's a fire. We'll hold on the south stairwell.
Go again. Signs of fire are going away. Copy.
There's signs that the fire is going away. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay.
0602.
0602,
probably get the whole building evacuated now.
Oh, you think?
We
A little late. Jesus Christ.
it's the same reaction. Like, oh yeah, oh now you think? Now you
Dumbass.
think you should maybe evacuate the building?
They shut down for Satire's statement. They shut down the fire alarm. It's a sprinkled building, so they shut that down before they gassed it, or after they gassed it, just as a secondary thought. So there's to keep people from like evacuating in the midst of a situation. So no, there's no fire alarm at this point. Jesus Christ, these guys are so dumb. Maybe we should evacuate the whole building now.
Maybe there's been a firefight going along for a while, but maybe we should evacuate people at this point.
Sure.
It almost seems comical. I do have to ask, we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes left, and we probably still have a half hour of this audio, which includes another hour of talking. Are we good? Okay, I'm ready to keep going.
I'm
I can do it live.
I'm all the way with you, bro.
Copy. 5-8 and 5-6. Can you start at the bottom? Negotiators can start working on the second floor.
07 copies. Where do you want them egressing to?
If they can go south, it's probably the safest route, or south or west out the building.
Copy.
0206. Go ahead. Can we suggest a quality in lobby or some destination?
That's as good as anything right now.
That's
See if
Fry.
we can round up transportation since they probably can't access vehicles.
Copy.
That was Fry's voice you're thinking?
That's who it sounds like to me, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. There is no smoke, and the lighting that appears to be flames is stopped, so everything is back to normal.
Copy. Let's still evacuate the building, just in case he gets that idea again.
There's no smoke. They talk about, so let's go ahead and continue to evacuate the building in case he gets that idea again. So apparently they're only going to evacuate the building if he's going to set the apartments on fire, but it's okay for rounds to be flying all over the place and not evacuate the building. I don't fucking understand that
Beyond
really
stupid.
at all.
Beyond stupid.
All right.
0627. 0627. They're going to open Beasley.
Copy.
Correction. 02. They're going to open.
407, 402. Can you text me the code for the laundry room to house the evacuees?
10-9.
Text me the code to the laundry room.
So they're gonna house evacuees in the laundry room of the building.
Yeah, it does make sense because it's probably
More
concrete.
cement. Yeah, concrete. Yeah, right.
And it's an enclosed area. I swear to God, that's Chief Fry right there talking.
Wow. And again, 100% has to be truncated audio. There's no way this happened all in this period of time.
It definitely didn't for sure.
All right, let's keep going.
We don't have it right now. Maybe closer.
0268. Did you guys keep a running tally of the people that left earlier?
Negative.
Coleman 468.
Go ahead.
In the earlier, when we were getting people out of the apartments, did you happen to see if 211 and 212 left?
Not that I recall. Check and advice.
Copy.
6806, there is no answer to 11.
Copy. 6768. Are you guys having success down there, or do you need another body?
We have about 3 more to go. We're getting most out.
Copy. 0268. We believe we have the second floor done.
Copy that. When you evacuate them, you can communicate that we have a bus en route that will evacuate them to Beasley Coliseum. Most people are congregating in the middle of Latah in front of Summer.
Copy. We don't have anybody else on the second floor to relay that to.
Not that it matters for you guys to understand this, but I'm going to tell you anyways because I know the area fairly well. So this is the south side of town. Beasley Coliseum is quite a bit north from this. Beasley is where they play basketball and have other and concert events and stuff like that. So they're basically going to take people from the apartment complex and stuff that have been evacuated, round them up in a bus, and then take them to Beasley Coliseum for probably maybe interviews and questioning about what people saw, things like that.
That's where I believe the interview with the redheaded neighbor. I believe that's where that took place at, from my understanding.
All right.
Copy. This is 13. I've been passing the word to the people exiting the building. 402, 456. Go ahead. We got the first floor clear.
Coleman 402.
Go ahead.
Can you get a hold of the WSP unit on Latah and tell them to come back? They still have the people's dog in the back of their car.
I have to say, our eyewitnesses that are questioned at Beasley Coliseum, like the redhead you're talking about, are those public records that can be obtained? If so, is it worth going after the eyewitness reports to have them report that they heard all these gunshots? Right? Because they're talking about a firefight. So did any of the people who were evacuated say, I heard all the firing, I heard the gunshots, and I was scared, I had to get out of there? Like, did anybody report the gunshots?
If you watch the interview of the redhead that Lana had put out, it's interesting because it doesn't quite match up to what the story was. Okay. That was something I remember clearly from that. Lana points it out as well. It could be worth it. It definitely could be worth it, because if it's not gonna, if there's nobody that can say, hey, I heard 8 to 10 gunshots coming from that apartment, then why did they not hear it if they're right there?
Right.
They should have. First, listen, guys, anybody that knows anything about a gunshot, if you shoot a gun inside of a structure, you're going to hear it. People that live above, below, next door to, they're going to hear it. There's no doubt in my mind. So don't tell me you didn't hear it if it actually happened. How did they not hear these gunshots is what my issue is. So,
yeah. And and I do know that if you're forward of the barrel, it's much louder than if you're behind the barrel, right? So yes. I can. There's a part of me that says, can any of this be excused by, well, if the gun's positioned out the window, for example, could you hear him cough but not hear the gun? I still don't know how he can't hear the gun. It's not like gunshots are quiet. Even if you're not in front of the barrel, it's not quiet. So if you can hear him cough, how do you not hear the gunfire?
Right. And you're absolutely right. Whispering, coughing, but you don't hear gunshots. Give me a break. It doesn't make sense. One says the same thing. He watched the video too, and it doesn't match at all. So there again, guys, I'm telling you, something is wrong. Absolutely wrong. This was, in my opinion, 100% not what they're giving us as to what happened. I'm sorry.
Fucking mind blowing. All right, let's keep going.
It is.
Their dogs are in another patrol car. I'm dropping them off now.
Go ahead, swap all up. Affirm. No further movement right now. 0506. Is that police we're hearing on the 3rd floor? Affirm. 44 and Blake at the south side. 3.
40605.
Good. What do you want our speed of movement to be on this? Do you want to get some tech here from Moscow or somewhere else? I think we need to go slow and safe.
Too fried.
We're going to work with the shield and the pole cam.
That sounded like more communication with Brent. I think he said something like, we'll make sure you're okay, or something like that. So
yes.
It seems to be shouting with Brent.
568 FYI, immediately after Paul 4's round, I heard what sounded like a hard thump from a body falling.
Copy.
A hard thump from what?
A body falling.
Are you fucking kidding me? Did he get shot right there?
I'm surprised we didn't hear the body falling then. I don't believe so at that point yet.
Okay.
Team heard it as well.
0602.
Go ahead. When it is safe, we have an ambulance moved up.
That sounds like they shot him, because they're saying they heard the shot, and then they heard a body falling, and now they're saying, okay, let's see if it's safe. I think they just shot him. I think they're thinking they heard his body fall, and I
keep forgetting that this is very
truncated.
Truncated. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I think they're indicating he may have just got shot and that his body fell, and they heard him fall, and so now they're making sure it's safe before they go in.
Ready. 02 from Q31. 402 from Q31.
Go ahead.
Confirm with the quality in. Anybody evacuating can go down to their lobby and hang out. Stay warm.
We should have a bus from coming to evacuate to Beasley if they want to go there.
Copy that. Blake, Love.
Go for them.
So it sounds like they're not forcing people to go to Beasley for witness statements. They're just offering people the option to go sit somewhere safe if they want to take the bus. I would be surprised, Dago, if we hear any more talk about shots. I think this is it. I think it's over. I think that body falling is where they think that he got shot and killed. And so we should not hear anything more about shots fired, I'm thinking.
Once we make entry, you're going to follow in behind the team up here.
Yeah, and they're clearly talking about making entry, so they think he's done.
Yeah, right.
Copy. Blake, 44, and Ruben are at the end of the hallway. Ruben, we're going to make entry.
Call 406, just to be clear, SWAT's inside the residence.
Copy, SWAT inside the residence.
We are
SWAT's
not
inside.
in the suspect bedroom yet.
They should have had EMS right in line with them.
Yeah, so they're inside his apartment now, but not in his bedroom. Is
And
what
do
they're
you-
basically saying.
Do you hear anything stated about EMS or
No,
medic or anything? I don't hear it at all. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe to play devil's advocates, and you would know better than me, do they first need to make sure it's safe before they bring in an EMT, right? Because they got to make sure that he's not armed and still alive and going to shoot somebody that walks through the door.
You're right, but they should still have them on standby, and I haven't heard that mentioned yet either. So
yeah, okay, let's keep going.
Go ahead.
Advise when you're ready.
Copy. We're still working on the last bedroom.
0249, where do you want me?
4902.
Go ahead.
Calls for service at the moment. We're going to start rotating some people out of here.
Copy, there's no cars.
407, 406.
Holman 455. We have.
I think when they're talking about rotating people out of here, they might be talking about officers. Because again, if this happened over the course of 2 shifts changeover,
Yeah.
they're probably getting some people relieved for the night and new officers coming into the scene, maybe. But
yes,
yeah, all right.
Contact on the suspect. Suspect is down.
455, I copy. 414.
407, 402.
Good.
If you can get up to that upper location ASAP so that we can move the affected officer from the scene.
Firm break.
Affected officer? Did an officer get hit or not?
I don't remember hearing that before.
I mean, the officer that did the interview with Jordan earlier said, well, thankfully nobody got hurt on our side, kind of thing. So what is the affected officer? Or is it an officer affected by tear gas or something? It could be affected by anything, but
could have been gas too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going.
0607. Where was that team located?
On Main Street.
Copy.
402, 406.
Go ahead. 40205. Medics are not needed.
Medics are not needed. So they've determined he's dead, doesn't need to even be looked at.
Yep. Sounds familiar, don't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
92, confirm that.
402, 406.
Go ahead.
Hall 92 made that decision.
Receive.
That pisses me off too.
I don't know if it's true, but it felt like a COIA there. Like Paul 92 just made that decision, or whoever it was. It's like, if you're gonna say no EMTs are needed, then let's make sure who made that call, because it wasn't fucking me. You're the one that made that call. That's what it felt like to me. But,
and
yeah.
I don't like that at all, because I don't trust that. I don't trust whoever made that call, because we don't know that. We don't know that he was still alive in there and they just stood there and watched him die. We don't know. So
right.
406, 468.
Good.
Tell me to clear the stairwell containment. Head back to the station with everybody.
0207.
Go ahead.
I need somebody on scene to be able to hold it.
46, I can do that.
6806, not quite yet.
Copy.
458, 402.
Good.
Can you move and secure that scene and hold it?
En route.
0768. Do you want them just to hold at the ends of the hallways, or where would you like them to contain?
If they could hold the end of the hallways on the 3rd floor, for now, that would be good.
Copy. I've got.
All right, listen. It seems clear the event is over. As far as that, we heard the standoff. We heard what they're reporting is 10, 12 shots that he fired, escalating to the point that she says he's now told us he's going to start shooting people. And then they took the shot and they killed him. And then it's over. That's what it sounds like has happened to this point. The reason why I'm kind of making it sound like a summary is I'm thinking about taking a little break at least. My wife just got home from a thing. I've been at this for 3 hours. I know that there's more time on this audio, but I think we've gotten through the actual shooting of Brent Kopacka pretty clearly. And so I think it's a good breaking point. I know that there's more to listen to this audio, and I think we really should.
Too, so
yeah. So everybody, I want to say thank you for coming and listening to this live breakdown. Dago, having you here was amazing. Having one in there giving commentary on things and clarifying things has been amazing. All of the people in the chat who are clarifying things that you've seen, this was super cool. I don't know that there was moments that we can snip out and play on the audio tonight. I think maybe we can do some of this talking about it tonight on the panel. Sure. I'm almost wondering if the whole thing could be made as a public facing video. Is there anything on here you think needed to be members only?
Not to me, no, because we don't hear any shots. We don't hear any shots. We don't hear any pain screams or any of that kind of stuff. It's all pretty basic. And it could be what they did as well, because we know that they cut and clipped all of that, in my opinion. And again, like you said, compressed everything. So it's like, I wouldn't think so, in my opinion, Lee. That's me though.
All right, I'll give it some thought on whether I want to make this public facing or not, or whether we just leave it as member only content. Thank you so much for joining me. It sounds like your team wants you to go live. So you got to go take a leak and maybe get back on it again.
I may do that. We'll see. I definitely have to hit the little boy's room because I had a lot of coffee today. So yes, absolutely.
All right, that sounds like our time to hang up. Thank you everybody for coming, and hope that you enjoy our next segment of this. Take it easy.
Have a great one, folks.